short streak, already dropping down is Ryan Lear and Lee Pratt. And moving up is Jack Wilson, he's moved up to 5, down 1 is Ross Millen, short streak gets into 2, and a fight there, 2 Josh Nichols and Dylan Platt, and they've all fallen behind. Collision there, short streak makes contact there, I'm not too sure who it was with, he's already gone out, Ryan Doran as well. Oh my goodness me, it's all happening at the back there. And we've got Ross Millen has retired from the session. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1 Tonight UK. And this evening we are here for Season 2, Round 12. And that is, of course, the Hungarian Grand Prix. Normally at this time I would be introducing my co-commentator, Guido Erschen. However, he's running a little bit late this evening, so I'm afraid you're just going to have to do with me. Anyway, let's get on with the championship standings as they are. So, leading the way is still Dylan Platt on 210 points, but up 1 in that constant battle into 2 is Sean Street on 125 championship points. Down 1 is his competitor Phil Harris. These guys been battling it out now for at least the last 2 or 3 races. So Phil Harris drops down to P3 on 119. Up 2 to P4 is Callum White. He's just come out of nowhere in the past 3 races, and what a fantastic result he has put in. And, well, last week actually getting 3rd on the podium with the surprise of Richard Williams and Ryan Doran up there was absolutely amazing, but we'll come to that in just 1 second. Lee Pratt for Ferrari, he's down 2 to 5. In P6 stays Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo. 7 is Josh Diggles remaining there. 8 is Ryan Lear. Up 1 to 9 is Jake Sorrell for Racing Point. Up 2 to 10 is Jack Wilson after that fantastic, result last week. And then we have in 11, Chris Knight, he's down 2 to 11. Adrian Rich down 1 to 12. Cameron Widdowson, he's up 4 from last week to 13, as is Ryan Doran for Haas. What a fantastic result for them. In P15 is Jamie Good remaining there. Down 3 is Tony Foster for McLaren. In 17 is Ross Milburn, also down 3. 18 is Matt Goodyear, down 2. 19, Richard Williams for Toro Rosso, and in 20 is Zach Dejean for Mercedes, new driver. Only his, I think this is going to be his 3rd race now. But you can see, I mean, Dylan obviously romping ahead there at the moment, even though he went out on the grid last week at the Hockenheimring, but still managed to stay ahead. That fight going on between Sean Street and Phil Harris, as we can see there, absolutely phenomenal. It really is. Callum White coming just up the field steadily through the championship standings. What on earth can he do today? And Lee Pratt, he's going to be looking to return the favour to Callum, see if he can get back up there. But look at that midfield between, well, really, P5 all the way down, I would say, to P11. Very, very close indeed, and the following guys as well. So, we are on round 12. We do have 11 rounds to go, including this one. So, all still to play for. But let's have a look how that's now reflected in the Constructors' Championship. Okay, so leading the way, obviously, is Red Bull. And they're on 291 championship points for the constructors there. Second place are Ferrari. They're on 181. Third place are McLaren. They're on 151. Fourth is Alfa Romeo on 105. Up 3, though, after last week's result, is Renault to P5 in the constructors. That pushes Williams down 1 to 6 and Haas down 1 to 7. In P8 as well, they're down 1. That's Racing Point. P9 remains Toro Rosso on 37 championship points, and bringing up the rear at this moment is the Mercedes team on 21 points. Again, very, very close, as we can see, really very much reflected from the Drivers' Championship. Red Bull romping away at this moment in time, 110 constructor points ahead, but very, very close between Ferrari and McLaren. But look at that midfield as well, 105, 86, 85, 82, 78. I mean, a lot of movement happened there from last week, and we can still see a lot of movement as we go on. So it's going to be very interesting indeed to see how many of the actual teams get through and how many points the drivers can actually get for the team. It can make all the difference. Okay, so let's now have a look at the track itself. The Hungaroring here at Mogyoród. Okay, bit bizarre there. I actually lost my mic there for some reason, switched itself off, very bizarre. But anyway, yeah, I wouldn't care to pronounce that because to be brutally honest with you, Hungarian is not a very easy language at the best of times. But anyway, let's have a look at the actual track length itself. It's 2.72 miles. Total race length obviously is around about the 190, in this case 108.531, and we're looking at 70 laps, and believe you me, that is draining this circuit. Very tough circuit, I would say, and a lot of undulation. The circuit last week in Germany is one of the flattest. Well, this certainly is not. Let's have a look at Sector 1. Obviously, from the start-finish line, leads us downhill towards that downhill right dogleg. Well, not really dogleg, quite hard downhill right there into Turn 1. We will have DRS on that straight, and obviously out of Turn 1, down towards what I would term the horseshoe of Turn 2. And again, that's going downhill, so you've got to watch it on there, especially into your entry, so you line up well for the exit, and into Turn 3, that dogleg 3. Then you straighten out. And as you come to the end of Sector 1, you then start Sector 2 into the what I call the turn of faith, which is Turn 4. You're going uphill. You cannot see that corner, so you take it purely on faith as to where you are, that you're going to be right on that. You then got the sort of slowly moving uphill horseshoe right of Turn 5. That leads you into that little chicane, 6-7, can be tricky, catch you out. You've got to watch the exit of that as you come out so that you got yourself lined up nicely into that rhythmic section of the end of Sector 2, which is turns 8, 9 and 10. So you've got a left, right, left, and then a right again as you go into Turn 11. Very simple. You can build up a lot of speed there, but you've got to really watch your line. Make sure you're hitting the curbs using the full width of the track so you can get as much speed and momentum as you can. Then you've got that hard left, as I said, downhill into Turn 11, and then that takes us into that Sector 3. Short sector, but tricky, very slow sector. So apart from the start of it, obviously when you come out Turn 11 down towards that Turn 12, you've got a hard right of 12, then you've got that long horseshoe of 13. Got to really watch yourself in there, watch your pace, make sure that you're not opening up too much on the exit of that. And then just as you come out of 10-13, you can't see there, that's the actual pit entrance itself. We saw that in the previous shot on the constructors, and then you come into that the right hand horseshoe of Turn 14, then leading you onto the start finish straight. DRS detection point is just as you're coming into Turn 14, with the activation then on the exit down the start finish straight and out of that Turn 1, as I said. Okay, so obviously, as I say, no Guido at this moment in time. Hopefully we'll get him in soon, but if you bear with me, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to switch over to blank screen so that I can get ready for us going across into the race itself. In fact, no, I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to play you a little video so you can keep an eye on that, and I'll be back with you very shortly. Okay, so here we are back now. Q1 session has obviously gone underway. 19 drivers. The only driver not participating this evening is Jamie Good for Toro Rosso. So let's have a quick look through the drivers as it is at this present moment. So Sean Street leads the way with a 1:16. Let's just have a look what he was actually on. So on the softs, I believe, although I can't confirm that obviously. Ross Mill 1:16.7 for Racing Point. Lee Pratt for Ferrari there, that's a 1:16.8. Matt Goodyear 1:16.841, mid 1:8. Josh Diggles for Rocket Williams 1:16.8. Ryan Lear 1:16.9. So quite a number of drivers in the 1:16s. In the 1:17s, Thomas Cook, Adrian Rich, Jack Wilson, Cameron Widdowson, Jake Sorrell, Callum White going out on the hards in the 1:17. Zach Dejan, he starts the 1:18s, followed by Ryan Doran, Chris Knight on the hards, and also Dylan Platt, they're on the 1:19s, and Richard Williams in the Toro Rosso just coming round now, he's on the softs. Let's see what he does there. Doesn't improve. Well, he is down 1.5 in the third sector, interestingly enough, so he did well in the third and final sector. So let's go with the guys who haven't set a time as yet. Phil Harris for Ferrari. So let's get on board with Phil. Phil at this present moment is third in the Drivers' Championship on 119 points. Sean Street from McLaren just ahead of him on 125. These guys, as I say, have been battling it out in the past few races. So I'm going to do a little bit on-the-fly editing here. That might be the problem, but there you go, done. Phil Harris just coming round turn 14 now. Start his out lap. Let's stay on board with him for his hot lap. Good run there into that turn one. This is where you go downhill. Got to really get over onto that right-hand side before you get down into that turn two. Watch it as you're coming round. Watch your exit because you want to line up nicely into that dogleg right of 3. Nice job there. Using the full width. Now this is the uphill left of turn 4. Watch as you're approaching. You just don't see it. You've got to be really confident in that. Go slightly over into that long horseshoe of 5. Watch your exit as you lay down the power. You're going uphill into the chicane now. 6, 7. Again, get over the right hand side. Watch your exit as you're going in now to turn 8, 9. Really flowing this part of track. Now downhill into 11. Downhill now towards that turn 12. Hard right. Line it up. Get ready into that long horseshoe of 13. Keep it steady. Good exit there. Into final turn 14. What will Phil Harris for Ferrari do? 1:19.7. Wow, he's in the drop zone. Remember, the 5 slowest drivers, or in this case the 4, so from 16 down, are in the drop zone. So Chris Knight, Phil Harris, Dylan Platt also in the drop zone. Jamie Good is out on track at this moment in time. So Jamie Good out on track now. Oh, and he sets a 1:18.0. So that pushes him into the safe zone. That means that Richard Williams, his teammate, is now in that potential drop zone. And Richard Williams coming round now. Approaching the end of sector 2. And he's on an out lap, so he's got time yet. But, Chris Knight as well, he's currently in the pits. Phil Harris is out again. Does not make any improvement. He's going for it now. Dylan Platt still in the pits as well. So we've got 3 minutes remaining. If Dylan's going to be coming out, it's going to have to be soon. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Williams just coming round turn 2 now. Invalidated that lap at this moment, so not an awful lot he can do there. Let's have a look, see down the field now. Looks like there's some activity there in the Alpha garage, although I think that's actually Zach Dejan, sorry, for Mercedes coming in. Yeah, Phil Harris. Dylan Platt is now out on track. So remember, in the drop zone, Richard Williams, and he's basically going to have to go for it again. Chris Knight, he's still in the pits. Phil Harris is out on track. Doesn't really improve on that. Dylan Platt is also out on track right now. So just coming through sector 2. Round turn 10 now. Down into 11. See what he can deliver. Oh, who's that? That's Red Bull on the side there. That's obviously Callum White just moving over, or moved right over for his teammate there. But he's got no worries. He's through in P13. Dylan's already down 1.7. So that would put him in the 118. And he needs to get low 118 or high 117. The lower the better, really. He's just coming round turn 5 now. Let's watch him go on board. Get down now out of 11, sorry that was. Oh, purple in the middle sector there. Into turn 12 now. And this is looking a good show here from Dylan Platt. Championship leader. Leading by a very clear margin, 85 points. Look at that, a 1:16.0 puts him in that P1 slot on the soft tyres. What a fantastic run there, right at the end of the session. Fantastic result. Sean Street for McLaren, he's coming second in the Q1. What an absolutely amazing time though, 1:16.0 from Dylan Platt. 1:16.1 from Sean Street, so certainly nothing to be taken away from him on that one there. And P3 was Ross Milburn with a 1:16.7. So great result there. In the drop zone though, but still able to fight. Callum White, he's in the drop zone in 16. Jamie Good for Toro Rosso, although he's just coming over the line now. Let's see what he can pull himself up out of that. Oh no, does better, but only into P16. Zach Dejan, he's out as well, and Richard Williams has gone out. So both, it looks like the Toro Rossos will be starting at the back. Jamie Good starting 16 and Richard Williams starting P19. So, oh dear, rather unfortunate there for Toro Rosso, I have to say. So those are the drivers that are being dropped. Jamie Good, he'll be in P16. Callum White for Red Bull will be in 17. In 18 will be Zach Dejan, that's row 9 for Mercedes. And in 19 will be Jamie Good, sorry, Richard Williams. in the Toro Rosso in row 10, all on his lonesome. So there you have confirmation of the results there. Interestingly, all the drivers getting through on the softs, apart from Phil Harris. So this isn't a track that lends itself well to the hard compound in any way, shape or form. And there you have confirmation of the guys that are going to be starting at the back of the grid. So very, very interesting indeed. Obviously very tight. Sean Street putting in a fantastic qualifying as he normally does. Ross Milburn as well, and Lee Pratt. They're always normally there or thereabouts, those guys. But let's see if they could convert that into good placings. We're just about to go into the Q2 session now. So Q2 session is underway, and I'm just getting reports here that we are looking at dry weather throughout. So that's all sessions. Have to wait and see what's happening for the actual race itself. Bit of light cloud I think we might be looking at. Last year's race was actually light rain and dry, and it was a fantastic race. Tom Stevens taking the win with Phil Harris coming in second, and Callum White came in third, but it was a very, very tough race. Okay, so let's have a look at these drivers now. A mix of tyres, as would be expected. Now, it's all a question of how they're actually going to deliver on that. Dylan Platt is going for the hard compound tyres. Those are his preferred tyre of choice, certainly in the Q sessions, although I've got to question whether it would be the right tyre for this track. Still, we will see how that goes. Ross Milburn's also going out on the hards. Phil Harris and Thomas Cook, Josh Diggles, Lee Pratt. So we'll see how that goes. I think the medium is probably the better one to go. We've got Jake Sorrell, Cameron Widdowson, Ryan Doran and Sean Street. They're all on the mediums. And then the soft runners, we have Jack Williams, Matt Goodyear, Ryan Lear and Adrian Rich. Adrian Stats Rich commentates on a Thursday night for F1 Tonight Netherlands. And he'll be back here at the Hungaroring this Thursday for F1 Tonight Netherlands. So don't forget to tune into them. 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time. That's what time they start their broadcast Thursday night. So don't miss that one. But I can assure you, you certainly don't want to miss this one either, that's for sure. So right now, Dylan just getting himself ready and prepared on his outlap. He's looking pretty good at this moment in time. He's, I think that's Adrian Rich in behind him in the Renault. He's just coming around turn 4 now into turn 5. Now remember, he's had a 1:16.094. And that was on the softs in that Q1 session. And he did set a 1:19 plus on the hards. Purple there, but obviously first man out on track, you will see the purples. So Phil Harris has set a 1:19.7 on the hard. See how Dylan goes. A 1:18.2. Now that is a competitive run on that hard compound tyre, I've got to say. So that's a good run from him. Phil Harris setting a 1:19.7, so a full 1.5 seconds. Thomas Cook goes in with a 1:17.8. Great run there from Thomas Cook in the Alfa Romeo. So very impressive indeed. So Thomas Cook in the Alfa Romeo there. Setting a somewhat impressive time of that 1:17.8 on the hard compound tyre. Lee Pratt puts in a 1:21.1 in the Ferrari. So that was a good run from him. So just adjust his as well there now. This is what you call working on the fly. That's Lee Pratt there for Ferrari. Adrian Rich now. He's on his fast lap for Renault. Let's actually go on board with him for his lap. See how that looks. Oh dear, moving aside there. Was he on a hot lap there? I thought he was. Obviously not happy with it anyway, so he's happy to move across for whoever that was there. I had to miss that, I've got to say. So Lee Pratt sets a 1:21.1, not ideal for him. He's going to be looking to try and go a little bit more on there. Let's have a look. He's coming round the final turn 14 here. I don't think he's going to get an awful lot more. He's just not working for him. No, up 1.5 or 1:22, so he's definitely not any good there. Ryan Lear's coming round now. Let's have a look what he can do. Ryan Lear for Haas, put in a fantastic result last week. Oh, look at that. Purple in both the first and last sectors, putting him on 1:17.8. What a run there from Ryan Lear. Very impressive indeed, I've got to say, from Ryan Lear. Looking very, very good indeed. Sure he's going to be very happy with that. And yeah, he's really upped his game. A fantastic result. So Ryan Lear. And as I said, I mean, the top three were Ryan Doran, Jake Sorrell and Cameron Widdowson. Sorry, not Cameron Widdowson, what am I saying? I've got the wrong details there. Ryan Doran actually came third last week. That's his teammate. So great result there for Haas for Ryan Lear. Just over 8.5 minutes remaining of this session. On Sean Street, sorry, well I was looking at it. Sean Street for McLaren sets a 1:17.3 on the mediums. Now these are the medium runners. Sorry, I was actually thinking that Ryan was on the hard compound tyres. It's actually on the medium. So the medium runners are getting in there. So Sean Street putting in a good time there of 1:17.3. So that's not looking too bad at all for him. Here he comes round now. Just taking his time. No rush, he says. I've got time. It's all right. No problem. So Sean Street leads the way at this moment in time. Ryan Lear second. And the Renault there. Jack Wilson. He had a fantastic result last week, obviously taking that podium win there. And filled with confidence, 1:17.8. Then Thomas Cook, he's decided to go onto the medium, so that put him in a 1:17.8. Dylan Platt stays on the hards, 1:18.2. Josh Diggles, he's out on the hards as well. He set a 1:18.275, not too far off Dylan's. Lee Pratt, 1:18.9. Adrian Rich, 1:19.0. Ross Milburn, he's back in his racing point this week. So Ross Milburn, he's set himself, well, no time as yet, although he is coming round right now. So looking for a time to be set by him. He's in the, by default, in the Mercedes last week. That wasn't ideal, but certainly scored the points there. So Ross Milburn still to set the time. Phil Harris has actually gone out. Jake Sorrell, Ross's teammate, he's just ahead of him. So the Racing Point guys both out on track right now. And then we've got Matt Goodyear in the Mercedes just coming round. So not too sure. I don't know if those guys went off on track. Because we've got three drivers out. Cameron Winston, Ryan Doran not setting times. And Phil Harris setting a time of 1:19. So I'm not too sure if they've got connection issues. We did have connection issues last week where Dylan Platt was on pole and right on the processional lap, he basically got kicked out. So that is definitely a technical. So as in the real world, we do in the sim world, so we also have technical difficulties from time to time. So Matt Goodyear has set the best time so far, 1:17.3. Great run from him there in that Mercedes. So I'm sure we can be quite proud of that. In the drop zone, Ross Milburn and Jake Sorrell. So they have to better that 1:19.2. So it could be that Phil Harris just jumped out because he was confident of that 1:19.2. Interesting. I don't know if I would have necessarily left the session on that one without seeing what's happening. We've still got 5 minutes remaining. So these guys have got at least 2 or 3 runs possibly on these tyres. Ross Milburn's on a fresh set of tyres. Jake Sorrell is actually coming round now. Is he going to go into the pits? No, he is staying out. So he's on 2 lap old tyres. Let's go with Ross Milburn, his teammate. Just coming into turn 13 now. That long horseshoe. Round 14 now. Nice aerial shot there of 14. And purple all round. Look at that. What a round. 1:16.893 from Ross Milburn. Fantastic result from him. And I'm sure he's going to be very, very happy with that indeed. I certainly would be. So that's looking good. Remember, the guys who get into the top 10 in this Q2 session, the tyre with which they set their fastest lap on will be the tyre with which they start the race. So you can see here Ross taking it very easy on the way back. He set a great time there. So he's done 2 laps effectively, the out lap and obviously the fast lap. So now this is his in lap. Just taking it easy on there because it could well be that he might need to use those tyres. So looks like Guido is actually coming on board fairly soon. So I'll get him in for the Q3 session, which will be underway shortly. So I think Ross Milburn is going to be very happy with that. I'm sure he's going to be coming into the pits and more than likely retiring in the pits. His teammate in the meantime, Jake Sorrell, also put in a great time. Look at that, Jake Sorrell putting in a 1:17.6. So both Racing Points putting in very competitive times there. So great run there from Jake Sorrell as well. So our top 10 as they stand at this moment are Lee Pratt for Ferrari, Josh Diggles for Rocket Williams, Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo, Jack Wilson for Renault, Ryan Lear for Haas, Jake Sorrell for Racing Points, Sean Streets for again, Sean Street for McLaren, Matt Goodyear for Mercedes, Ross Milburn for Racing Point, and of course Dylan Platt. Dylan's already, look at this, he's got out there on the mediums, set a 1:16.722, so still not matched that time that he did on the softs in Q1, but not far off it on the mediums, only 6/10 off that lap that he did on Q1 on the softs. So that is an amazing run there on those medium tyres for Dylan Platt, 1:16.7. So he's steadily through. That means that in the drop zone is Adrian Rich. He is still out on track. Let's see what the Renault driver of Rich can deliver here. So Rich comes across the line, and he does just push himself up a couple of places there with a 1:18.2. So that does put him in the safe zone now. Josh Diggles, he's in 10. That means it's all down to Lee Pratt in the Ferrari. So Lee Pratt, Ferrari coming round now, down, round turn 2, into 3. Let's see what this Ferrari can deliver. He has opted to go onto the medium compounds. Through the end now, this sector 2, round 11, dropping downhill towards that turn 12, that hard right. Third and final sector. Looking a good time into 13 there. Oh, going a bit wide there. Could be his line though. 14. This is looking good. This is looking very good here. I think we could be looking at a 1:16. Oh, 1:17.1. Pushes him into the P3. Did the fastest third sector so far in this Q2 session. So great run there from Lee. So Adrian Rich is in the drop zone. He's coming into the pits. There's only 2 minutes 15 seconds remaining. Is he going to have time to actually come in, go for a tyre change and get out? He should just, but it's going to be very, very tight. Or is he staying in the pits and saying, no, that's it? Just wheeling him into the pit box now. If he goes for a quick tyre change, comes out, he's going to be pushing it, I've got to say, if he does go for it. Say he needs to be out by well, 1 minute 30 remain. No, that's it. He's retired out of that session. So there you have the results for Q2 going through to the Q3 session. Dylan Platt, Ross Milburn, Lee Pratt, Matt Goodyear, Josh Diggles, Sean Street, Jake Sorrell, Ryan Lear, Jack Wilson, Thomas Cook. In the drop zone, starting row 6 will be Adrian Rich for Renault, P11. P12, Phil Harris for Ferrari will be alongside him. In row 7, Cameron Widdowson for Williams. In 13 and 14 will be Ryan Doran for Haas. So those top 10 drivers going through. The only driver getting through on the hard compound tyre being Thomas Cook. Everyone else was on the mediums compound, so that's what they'll be starting on. That's going to be very interesting indeed. Okay, so I believe we have Guido ready, so let's get him in as we get into this Q3 session. Good evening, Guido.
Good evening.
How are you, sir?
Well, fine, thank you. And you?
Yeah, well, okay, you know, holding the fort. Holding the fort.
Just a little bit late.
I'm glad you turned up at the right time, though, because you've got to tell me who you think is going to take pole and who's going to take what? Who's going to take the win?
Dylan Platt.
So Dylan Platt for pole and Dylan Platt for the win, yeah?
Yeah. I literally just tuned in as I heard you say who was going to Q3. Sorry, good. No excuses.
No excuses.
No, I don't make excuses.
No excuses now. Come on. Don't give me that.
During the race because it's custom to change stuff during the race.
Don't start on that one. Don't start on that one. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly been very interesting. I mean, 1:16.0 set by Dylan Platt on the softs in Q1. Only 6/10 off that with the medium in that Q2 session. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? I mean, considering, you know, soft to medium.
That's wicked. Yeah, I'm just now looking up. I'm trying to see where everybody's going to start on. Excuse me, guys. I'm just.
He's catching up, aren't you?
Yeah,
basically.
I'm catching up. I'm trying to put my menus up and let's see what's going on there.
Well, everybody's out on the softs, obviously, in this Q3 session. You've named Dylan Platt for the pole. I can't obviously match that, but I don't know. I'm looking at this.
Why not? Why can't you match that?
Nah, it's just no fun. I've got to, you know, I've got to do something a bit different here.
There's no entertainment value in that.
There's no entertainment value in me agreeing with you. Good God, no. Okay, dearie me, I'm looking at this and I'm struggling to think. I'm actually going to go with Sean Street for pole. Yeah,
it's a good call.
I'm going to go with Sean Street for pole, and for the win, I'm actually going to go with Sean Street again.
Ooh.
So
Sean Street. You'll probably change it anyway, so that doesn't really matter.
I won't change it. I won't change it. I won't change it. I promise I won't change it this time. But Guido, I mean, this track, it's a bit of a weird track. I've got to say, it's not.
Is it? It's tight. It's tight. It has its. You know, it's the. I think the most difficult one. The penalty. The one that gets the most penalties is the one that Ryan Lee is driving through right now. Yeah. That's the fast one. And I think I like these kinds of tracks. A little bit tight, nowhere to go. Mistakes are unforgiving. Oh, we got a retirement there. Matt Goodyear. Oh yeah, Matt Goodyear has indeed gone out. Let's have a look, see if we can see where that is. On track. Don't know if we'll actually pick it up. We're on board at the moment with Josh Diggles. Not very happy with me having a wrong tag up there, but there you go. So, not too sure where Matt Goodyear. He's just set a purple middle sector, Diggles, but, well, hang on, he would do, wouldn't he? He's one of the few track cars out. Yeah, first one out on track, so hardly surprising. So, Josh Diggles coming around now. 116 set by Ryan Lear. Josh Diggles does set a 116.1. Ryan Lear sets a 116.9 for Haas. Thomas Cook a 117.1. Let's see who else we've got round. I think we've got Dylan coming round now. Oh, no time really set for him in 126.2. Clearly had an issue somewhere around the track. Ross Milburn. No. Jack Wilson. Jack Wilson's gone out as well. Yeah, see that. So Matt Goodyear. We had a couple of guys drop out in the Q2 session as well. I'm wondering if there are some connection issues as we had last week, Guido. If it's a connection issue, they wouldn't light up as they did now. This tends to be an accident of some sort, because you see they really got out of the game. Yeah. Out of the match, sorry, not out of the game, out of the session. Yeah, out of the session. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's happened there. They could well have come off the track and obviously suffered the consequences thereof. We couldn't see that. Obviously in race normally we can pick that up. In qualifying sessions somewhat more difficult. So Lee Pratt, he's starting his fast lap now. Let's actually go on board with him for that fast lap. Down into that turn one. DRS obviously as you're coming out of that as well. You've got to watch that as you're coming out of there with the DRS as well, that you're not laying down too much power as your wheels are still turning. Into that dogleg 3, up into turn 4, the turn of total faith. That's it, that's the one. Into 5, coming round that long horseshoe. You've got to watch your exit as you're coming up that hill, laying down the power as well, and then into the chicane. 6, 7. Into that turn 8. This is where it starts to flow. 9. Round the 10. It's really flowing track. 11. Then push downhill towards that 12. Purple middle sector for Lee Pratt there. Hard right into 12. Build it up. Really push now into that 13. Try and stay close in on the left hand side. Much better, Lee. Much better than that last one you did. Into that final 14 there. Loses a lot of time round that final corner, really does. That's where he's suffering, but a 116.4 puts him into potentially row 2 P3. So good run there from Lee Pratt, Guido. Yeah, what do you think about I love that name that you gave it, Turn of Total Faith. Yeah, that's not on the track. Yeah, well, no, it's not, but then again, none of the turns have got names, or if they have, they're Hungarian and totally unpronounceable. Now, that's interesting. Josh Diggles heading up the leaderboard with a 116.1 right now, and Dylan seems to be struggling. Not too sure why that is, actually. He's coming into the pits, and maybe he's made a slight adjustment there, and it's just not helping him.
I'm just hoping to see if because I got in the game late as a spectator. It's a little bit technical, guys, but as I got into the game spectator, I hope it doesn't give me a car in the race.
Shouldn't do, as long as you stayed spectator, you should be okay.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be an issue. But interesting, because I mean, Dylan, as I said, in that Q1 session on the soft, set 1:16.094. So, you know, on the cards, on the facts from what we've got, he should really be taking that pole. So a bit unusual that he's not come out there. I mean, we've just got 5 minutes remaining. This is the next sort of couple of minutes. This is when it's really going to liven up, isn't it, Guido, as the guys come out for their sort of second and final run, really.
Yeah, well, he could have made a mistake somewhere, but it didn't invalidate because he did get a time. Dylan did.
Did it?
Dylan did.
Dylan did.
Did Dylan do it?
Did he? Did.
Dylan,
I did. I believe he did.
I think Dylan did it.
I think he did.
Oh God, we're going on this level.
It goes from bad to worse.
Yes, it's Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it is indeed. And well, I mean, Guido, this track, as I said, you know, it's to me, it's a bit of an odd track because it just seems to be. It doesn't flow. It doesn't have a rhythm to it as such. You know, that the middle sector does. Sector 2, I think, does have a rhythm, especially when you're going through that, you know, coming through the chicane and then to 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, the third sector, you could say so, but I don't know. That first sector, it's just, to me, I think the most tricky one is turns 1, 2, 1. Well, that first sector and start of the second sector. So really turns through 1 to 5. For me, is probably the trickiest part of the track.
Yeah, I think in the beginning, not as much turn 1, but when you go up the hill and go down, you have to shift back about 3, maybe 4 gears, but you have to keep driving, so that's a little bit tricky to drive. But as soon as you say sector 2 and sector 3, I think they need a lot of rhythm because it's going left, it's going right, it's shifting one back, shifting one up, it's going left, it's going right, and you really need that rhythm to get into the flow of that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that one. I mean, last week in Germany we had a surprise result. Obviously, Callum White taking the win, Jack Wilson up on the podium in P2, race, and Ryan Doran for Haas in P3. I mean, totally unexpected for those two to be up there. Fantastic result for them. But this is one of those tracks as well, very much like the Hockenheimring, where it can deliver unexpected results, can't it?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's not as...
Sorry, Guido. Sean Street. A 1:15.845. What a fantastic run from him. Absolutely amazing, gotta say. Great run there from Sean Street, and that beats the Q1 time of Dylan Platt by about 2/10.
That's your call.
Was it my call, Guido? Sean Street?
Yeah.
Was it?
Hear it again? That was your call.
Was it really? You sure about that now?
I think you can change it now because Dylan's still on the run.
Well, Dylan is now just set a purple in the first sector. He's coming round now. Don't spoil my day, Dylan. That was hitting a little bit of dirt. Oh, see, look at this, and he's putting him into troubles as he's coming through that sweeping turns there. 8, 9.
Rhythm.
Yeah.
That's when you miss that rhythm, you don't... Oh, traffic.
He's still set purple in the middle sector, though, Guido.
Of course he did. Come on. Nice. Sean's going out.
Let's have a look at this. This is looking very fast as he's coming into turn 14 here. This is going to be a high 1:15 as well. Oh, look at that! 1:15.3! 1:15.3 from Dylan Platt. What a fantastic result. Well, you know, I'm not going to take it away from you, Guido. It was somewhat
you could say almost a foregone conclusion, but what a run! I mean, he doesn't better it, he decimates it. I mean, that's half a second faster than Sean Street, and we thought that was amazing. What a great run there. 26 seconds remaining of this queue.
Make a mistake.
That was absolutely phenomenal, and I've got to say, yeah, he did make a mistake as well, but it looked as if he was, I don't know, his flow looked different through that sector, the sweeping 8, 9, 10, 11, but I'm wondering if that was the line he wanted to take. I actually think either that or he just managed to lay down the power and get it out there. I'm not too sure whichever way, but fantastic run from him, absolutely amazing. So
to me was that he was in a low gear or a lower gear. He was not pushing the car at all. It was sounding like he was shifting fairly early.
Yeah, it just didn't look as if he was taking the line he wanted to, but again, it probably was. But anyway, great run from him. So Dylan Platt, at this moment, certainly looks as if he's going to be taking pole. Everyone else is still out on track, so it could still go to anybody. Let's have a look, see who we've got. It's Ross Milburn just coming round. Jake Sorrell. So Jake Sorrell coming round now. He's not going to better that time. So 1:16.3 puts him row 3, P5. Then we've got Lee Pratt and Ross Milburn. So Ross Milburn just ahead of Lee Pratt. Ross Milburn not going into the pits. He seemed as if he was. So Ross Milburn, no, definitely not. Lee Pratt, let's have a look what Lee Pratt does. He's also not done what he was looking to do. 7th place there. So let's have a look at the drivers then for this final QC session. So P1, row 1, Dylan Platt for Red Bull. Alongside him will be Sean Street for McLaren. Row 2, P3, Josh Diggles for Williams. Alongside him will be the Racing Point of Ross Milburn. Row 3, P5, Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo. Alongside him in P6 will be the Racing Point of Jake Sorrell. Then in row 4, P7, Lee Pratt for Ferrari. Alongside him will be the Haas of Ryan Lear. And then row 5, P9, Matt Goodyear in the Mercedes. And alongside him will be Jack Wilson in the Renault. Jack Wilson, remember, taking 2nd place on the podium last week. And what a great result it was for him. So, yeah, this is going to be very interesting indeed, I think, Guido. Really, really is. Okay, so we're coming to the 5-minute break, and we've introduced something a little bit different, which is having a look at the driver profiles. So we're going to have a look at those guys now, and we're actually going to go on board with Thomas Cook on a hot lap that he did and take us around the track. Obviously, we've seen the guys doing their qualifying, but let's have one last look before the race of the track itself. So here he comes down now into that hard right turn 1. DRS, remember, activating just as he comes on the exit there. There's the line, building up the speed, coming ready down into that horseshoe downhill left of turn 2. Staying nice and tight, going wide on the exit, rolling nicely into turn 3. Then he comes up into the turn of Total Faith, that left-hander, turn 4. Watches over the right into that long horseshoe uphill of turn 5. Watch it on the exit, you see a little bit of wobble there. Then into the chicane, 6, 7, go over the right, get yourself lined up, hit that apex into turn 8. Round then, turn 9. This is that flow that you've got going now into 10. Right hand downhill of 11. Very deceiving that. Don't believe you can go in at speed. Then hard right, turn 12. Foot down into 13. Brake, 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 turn right in. You've got to be really riding that left hand side into the final turn of 14. And there you have it. Across the line. So nice little run there from Thomas. Let's have a look at his driver profile. So Thomas Cook, 18 Grand Prix, debuted in season 1 in Australia. No wins. Best finish, though, second, which he's finished twice there. He's had 3 podiums, 2 driver of the days, 9 DNFs. Current form, 5th, 4th, 9th. So he sort of had better days. This sort of second phase of the season not going so well at this moment, but I think that's a lot to do with the competition coming up as well. Current season standing is 6th, 58 points. Has finished second twice, both times from the 8th row. So, okay, that's going to be an interesting one. What are your thoughts, Thomas Cook, Guido? I mean, he's a competent driver. I don't know. I mean, obviously aggression is all part of the driving, but, you know, sometimes I'll sort of sit there and think, you know, is he maybe pushing it a little bit too hard? Do you think he's got the seasoning in yet or not? Because he's certainly a very capable driver. I'm surprised we don't see more of him because he's put in some great qualities, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, you know, the seasoning, I don't know if he, you know, he definitely has the capability of performing, but I think sometimes it just doesn't come together. And I think that's a little bit the case here. But having said that, you never know what will come. You've seen it from other drivers as well.
Yeah, true.
Who come into the season a little bit later. You know, you get this series of tracks that are really basically into your own, as you say it. And, you know, we'll see. We'll see. It can all happen. He's definitely a capable driver.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, and he's firmly in that top 10. So, you know, at this moment in that P5 position, just behind Callum White. So, yeah, very competent driver, and he's certainly looking good for him at this present moment. Let's have a look at his teammate. That's Chris Knight. So 13 Grand Prix, debuted season 1 USA. So towards the end of the season, just missed one race, 1 podium, 3rd, which was on his debut, 5 DNFs, current form 4th DNE DNF. So he finished 4th, did not enter, and then DNF. Current season standing is 11th. 47 points. I'm a bit surprised by this, I've got to say, especially seeing how he sort of finished off or started season 1 towards the end of the season, albeit, you know, 3rd on his debut race. And then it just, I don't know. I mean, and this season he doesn't seem to have quite pulled it together. But again, a very, very competent driver. He's done some great qualies. Yeah. But again, it just doesn't seem to have clicked so far this season for him, has it?
No, not yet. No, you have to be honest. It hasn't been really working for him this season. And having said that, it's at the moment, you know, once again, we're going to get a different set of tracks here. Like Hungary, it's small, it's tight. Maybe that's he gets a little bit of his mojo back in that. And let's see tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, well, time will tell, as they say. But, I mean, you know, both the Alpha drivers there, a good, solid team. But I think it's fair to say that they just haven't really pulled it together as a team. I mean, they are sitting 4th in the Constructors' Championship, and I think Thomas has had, you know, he's certainly pulled them up there. But, you know, if Chris can find his mojo, I think it could make all the difference to them in this second part of the season. And it wouldn't surprise me if they, you know, put it together. We saw the same happen with Callum White for Red Bull. I mean, he was nowhere at the start of this season. And in the past couple of races, Britain and then Germany, he really came alive and he's really moved up. And I can see that coming from Chris Knight. And in conjunction with Thomas Cook, I mean, it's quite easy to see Alpha starting to maybe battle it out with the likes of Renault, with McLaren and Ferrari, who are currently 2nd and 3rd in the Constructors. So,
well, they're not the best of the rest for nothing right at this moment, you know. Yeah. And if they start performing together, you know, who knows what will happen.
But they've got to be careful because, you know, that team of Renault, they're starting to move up. You know, Jack Wilson last week, fantastic result from him, as we know, really pushed them up. And then obviously Adrian Rich as well. He's opened up the valves over the past couple of races. You know, he's already said, you know, no more Mr. Nice Guy. So the Alpha guys have got to watch out for them because they're very close in behind. They're on 86 points and Alpha are currently on 105 constructor points. So they could very easily overtake them if they're not careful, couldn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I say. Just try to stay in your zone and do your thing. And hopefully, the competition just gets harder and harder all the time, because there's been people having a lot more practice and driving a lot more, and everybody gets more consistent and everybody gets more faster in the season. So the competition's going to be higher, but you got to practice yourself and get into the zone. But then again, they're best of the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so processional lap will be getting underway very shortly indeed. And the drivers are now readying up on there. So let's get this done. So let's go with the drivers on board and run through them. So Dylan Platt is in P1. In P2 is Sean Street in the McLaren. P3 is Josh Diggles in the Williams. P4 is Ross Milburn in the Racing Point. P5 is his teammate Jake Sorrell in the Racing Point. P7 is Lee Pratt, who's still on the grid, interestingly enough, so a bit of a hopefully he hasn't got an issue. P8 is Ryan Lear in the Haas. P9 is Matt Goodyear in the Mercedes. P10 is Jack Wilson in the Renault. 11 is his teammate Adrian Rich. 12 we have Phil Harris for Ferrari. 13 is Cameron Widdowson for Williams. 14 is Ryan Doran for Haas. 15 is Chris Knight for Alfa Romeo. Let's see what he can do. 16, Jamie Good for Toro Rosso. And then we have Callum White for Red Bull in 17. Zach Dejean for Mercedes is in 18. And bringing up the rear is Richard Williams for Toro Rosso. Oh, hang on. Oh, it's all going a bit skew-whiff here. What's going on? That's it. So, Richard Williams. So, they're coming onto the starting grid now. Let's get ready to see how we do. Drivers lining up, forming up on the grid. And how many safety cars or VSCs do you think, Guido?
I'm looking at... Is there some car missing?
No, not that I can see.
In front of the Ferrari.
So they are off for the start. It's F1 tonight, Hungarian Grand Prix. And Dylan Platt stays in the lead, but Ross Milburn, look at that. Jake Sorrell gets ahead of... who was that? Lee Pratt, Thomas Cook, Ross Milburn.
Thomas Cook's out.
Oh, dearie me, bit of contact there. As they're going round turn one, look at this. And the Haas is coming up there as well. Ryan Doran trying to push through. Oh, look at that. Adrian Rich really going aggressive round turn two there. Into three. And he's down a couple of places already. Up four, though, is Jamie Good. Down two, Matt Goodyear. Cameron Widdowson is up three. Phil Harris up three. Down one is his teammate Lee Pratt. Jack Wilson up three. Ryan Lear up two. These guys really pushing. Jake Sorrell is down to five. Ross Milburn is four. Safety car is out.
Ryan Doran doesn't have a front wing anymore.
Thomas
Cook didn't start on the grid, so I don't know what happened there. There was definitely one car missing.
Yeah, and that was Thomas Cook. You're absolutely right there, Guido. So we could we have had the same issue that we had with Dylan Platt last week, where he just went out on the start grid? It looks like it might well have been.
Yeah, because I think he was driving, and I was driving the warm-up lap, but Phil was on the grid, so he probably bumped into something. Okay. I was kind of afraid that he was going to be ejected, but hey.
Okay, so a bit of a bizarre one there, but Ryan Doran coming into the pits, as we can see there. Safety car is out. I suspect that we're going to find it probably out of turn 1 coming down to turn 2. So 4 cars. So that was Jamie Good, Adrian Rich, Chris Knight and Ryan Doran. Well, we did see Rich pretty much ploughing the field, so to speak, on that first lap as they were coming down into turn 2. There was a lot of cars very, very close, tight in, and a lot of contact happening there. So I'm wondering if that's what caused it. A bit surprised with the safety car. I presume that's obviously to do with debris on the track, Guido.
Yeah, I think it was because Ryan Doran really lost his nose, his whole front end. So there was probably big contact there. Yeah. And that made it decide that probably the safety car came out. Dylan Platt just left the session, so there is definitely something going on with the connections again.
Okay, well, hopefully it won't happen too much. It could be that he might be just taking advantage of the safety car at present and having a quick pit stop himself. That's always a possibility.
He jumped out of the session.
So he jumped out of the session. Oh, okay. Right, we've got some cars at the back there. Those are obviously the guys that came in to the pit, so they still need to catch up. So Jamie Good about 6.2 seconds behind. Safety car is on lap 2. Yeah, we should be okay. I think safety car will come in at the end of this lap, Guido. Sorry, lap.
At the next lap, lap 3.
Next lap, lap 3. Yeah, lap 3. Yeah, it will be coming in at the end of lap 3. So safety car will be coming in. Let's have actually a quick look at those positions. So Dylan still leads the way. Sean Street stays where he is. Josh Diggles remains 3rd. Ross Milburn 4th. Up 1 is that then Jake Sorrell. So oh yes, he got past. Yeah, I see where he is. Yeah, because he was down. Yeah. So Jake Sorrell moves up 1 to 5. Ryan Lear moves up 2 to 6. Jack Wilson moves up 3 to 7. Lee Pratt obviously down 1. Phil Harris is up 3 as well from 12. Cameron Widdowson, he's up to 3 from 13. Then down 1, Matt Goodyear. Up 5 is Callum White, started in 17, so he's already started to come through the field there. Then we have Richard Williams, he's started right at the back, so he's up 6. Zach Dejan up 4. Remember, that's basically because of these guys that came into pits, which is Jamie Good, Adrian Rich, Chris Knight and Ryan Doran. So the guys ahead of them, they've gained big time on that. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do. So from the point of view of tyres, everybody is now on the medium compound tyres, Guido, and they're all pretty equal. I did expect the medium tyres to be the tyre of choice here. Hard compound tyre, it's not one you really want to use.
I think the soft tyres will go very fast.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really. I think it's going to be. Well, I suspect we're going to see guys going on to the hards, but I think if they can do a couple of stints on the mediums and maybe a 3rd stint on the softs, wherever that may lie, I suspect it'll be towards the end. But I expect that we're going to be looking at 2 stops, medium, and then finishing on the softs. So. We'll see how that works. Dylan is starting to wind the cars back into turn 12. Safety car is coming in, and he'll probably open it up once he's sure that it's into the pits. It's quite a long pit entry, and an interesting pit entry. It's can be a bit of a harsh one. So he's going to be getting underway, I'm pretty sure, right about now. Yeah, there he is. Straight into turn 14, bringing it up now, pulling away. Nice little shot there. You can see as he opens up that gap there to Sean Street. Sean Street in behind him. Josh Diggles very, very close in there at this moment. He's having a little, see if he can have a little look on the inside there. I'm sure he's going to be looking to try and get a move done on Street as quickly as he can. Really riding the tail of that McLaren. This Williams here of Josh Diggles. Now this is the turn of faith there. Good into there. Oh, look at this, really closing down on the back of Street into 5. Has to give him a little bit of space, but equally Sean is right on the tail of Dylan Platt. Got to watch into that chicane coming out of 7. You don't want to ride that too hard, do you, Guido, when you go over the rumble strip, because it's quite raised and it can actually throw you off if you hit it wrong, can't it?
And the chicane, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dangerous corner. You really want to get him on the insides. But if you get, oh, it's a yellow flag. Ross Milburn's got some issues.
Yeah, looks like he's dropped right back there, Ross Milburn.
But it is a high curve because you got these little edges that stand up.
Yeah, I think Ross. Oh, dearie me! And now for Romeo there, Chris Knight losing it round 13. That's not good. He's dropped to the rear now. Ross Milburn is ahead of him. He's into the pits. Clearly got some damage there. Oh, you've got to watch your entry into those pits. Watch out for that.
Yeah, especially without a wing.
On that right-hand side, yeah. So we are back racing. Dylan is still leading the way. Sean Street 7 tenths behind him. Josh Diggles only 5 tenths behind him. So the top three here, very, very tight. Jake Sorrell is 2.2 seconds off them, and he's got Ryan Lear riding on his tail as well. So it's really close here. I mean, it still could be anyone's. Lee Pratt having a little look here at Jack Wilson as they're coming into out of 4 into 5. And he's got his teammate Phil Harris ahead of him, which I'm sure he wants to catch up with. Jack Wilson trying to block as much as he can. But I think Lee Pratt is definitely on a mission to get past this Renault, Guido. He is so tight in behind him.
Yeah, I was looking at the fight of Zach.
Well, Phil Harris is closing in on the back of Ryan Lear as well, 3 tenths there. So both Ferraris zoning in, but equally Ryan Lear is zoning in on Jake Sorrell in P5. So very, very tight as they are coming round to start lap 6. Lee Pratt still on the back of Jack Wilson. Phil Harris is going to try and see if he can make a move here, I think, on Ryan Lear. Can't quite get it. Is he got... Can I have a little look into turn 1? Yes! Yes, nicely done there by Phil Harris. Gets ahead. Lee Pratt as well now. Can't get past Jack Wilson in the Renault. He's going to stay on his tail.
Ryan Dorrance just made a mistake and Adrian's on his back.
Adrian Rich in the Renault.
Yeah, Ross got a little bit wide. He got some grasp with it. But now he's
oh, sorry,
on.
Callum White though, close zoning in on Cameron Widdowson out of 5. Oh, look at that! Jack Wilson's gone off. Oh my goodness, and he's reversed onto the track. You don't want to do that, Jack. He was so lucky he didn't get hit there. Jack Wilson drops down to P17. I don't know if he's got any damage on that Renault. Yeah, he has. He's taken out the front right wing there, so he's going to have to come into the pits. But equally, let's have a quick look here, because Lee Pratt was obviously looking to try and get past him. He's now moved up into P7. He's got Ryan Lear ahead of him now, because Ryan took advantage of that as well. Phil Harris is in P5. Jake Sorrell is still in 4. Josh Diggles is in 3. Sean Street 2. And that gap to Dylan has already opened up. Look at that, Guido, 1.7 seconds. He was right in tight behind him, about 2-3 tenths off the back of him. And Josh Diggles as well. So Dylan has just opened up the valves there. Oh, sorry, Phil Harris. Oh, Phil Harris. Wheel to wheel, literally there with Jake Sorrell as they were coming in and out of turn 1. Jake Sorrell, though, not too happy. He's looking to try and see him get back, but Phil starting to pull away already. Look at this. So good speed there from the Ferrari of Phil Harris. But yeah, Dylan Platt, Guido, is already 2 seconds ahead. Where's he getting this speed from? Because he's just opened up the valves and that's it. He's gone.
I think he's got a clear field ahead of him, and it just keeps his cool.
Yeah.
So it doesn't push it that hard. That's what he did in the in Q3, what I saw anyway. I didn't see the other ones, but it was just driving at his own pace, and it seems to be a little bit not on the edge, but relaxed. If you know what I. Maybe that's what it is. That's the difference. Yeah, that is very true. I've got to say with Guido. But he's already, look at this, 2.5 seconds ahead now, Sean Street. Josh Diggles 6 tenths off the back of Sean Street, 5 tenths now, closes down him obviously on that DRS section out of 1 now. Is he going to try and see, make a little bit of good speed there from Sean Street and that McLaren? So I think Josh is going to have to. Sorry. Yeah, it's got it. Zach de Jean's behind that. That's a nice threesome there.
So Matt Goodyear getting ahead.
of Cameron Widdowson. Zach Dejean is... and Widdowson makes contact with the rear of the Mercedes there. No damage, but Zach Dejean going very wide out of 3. He's trying to chase down Cameron Widdowson in that Williams, but Widdowson is not too keen on it, is he?
I wonder if it didn't strike the car in the front.
No. It's too short, to be honest with you. I can't see any damage.
No damage.
Look at that, Cameron Widdowson really going a little bit wrong-footed out of 8 into 9 there.
Yeah,
Dejean is getting the full advantage to close down to him.
Jamie Good's knocking on the door. Ryan Wilson's knocking on the door.
Everybody's now found their footing, and you got both the Toro Rossos there of Richard Williams and Jamie Good. Yeah, Cameron Widdowson. Oh, I thought he was going to go into the pits there. So did Zach Dejean actually, but Jamie Good goes wide. Richard Williams gets ahead of his teammate. Jamie Good drops into 13. Richard Williams moves up to 12. Zach Dejean cannot close down on Cameron Widdowson, and Cameron Widdowson stays in 10. Let's have a quick look here where we are. Lee Pratt 6/10 off the back of Ryan Lear, but he's got Callum White zoning in on him. But equally, Josh Diggles, look at this, Josh Diggles still zoning in on the back of Sean Street. 3.5 seconds, 3.6 seconds between Street and Platt now. But Josh Diggles is not giving up, is he, Guido? He's pushing that McLaren as hard as he can.
2 guys are gone. 3 guys are gone. What is going on here?
Yep. I just caught that as I was flipping through. Obviously, the guys go out. We're on board with Chris Knight. And they've all gone out basically into the start of turn 5. So all those cars, Zach Dejean, Richard Williams and Jamie Good, that was all into turn 5. We will see one of the cars there as we go in on the left-hand side. And that's where they all went out. So I suspect it all went a bit wobbly as they were coming out of turn 4. Heavy contact, obviously, between the 3 cars. And, well, that has wiped out Toro Rosso and Zach Dejean for Mercedes, Guido.
Yeah, I think it did. It was on the right-hander. If you hit the curbs there, it's right after the the turn of faith.
Yeah, I think what happened was there may have been, because they were very close in behind, I think there may have been a wobble from one of them into or out of turn 4, which then caused them all to make contact and go off at the start of that turn 5.
Yeah, and if you go fast in the corner anyway, if you really push it and you hit the curb, you just have to hit the curb, and the thing spins. So
that's true.
And if everybody's there, because that's what happened to Jack Wilson when he was spinning his Renault around.
Absolutely, that's absolutely right.
That's a really, really, really dangerous curve, because that's almost a 90% spin.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, safety car is out, unsurprisingly, so let's run through the grid as it stands. DNF for Zach Dejean for Mercedes, Richard Williams for Toro Rosso and Jamie Good for Toro Rosso. Currently in that last place, or well, as it stands now, P14, is Jack Wilson in the Renault. So he's bringing up the rear in the Renault there. Then we have Ryan Doran in the Haas. He's in P13. P12 is Chris Knight in the Alfa Romeo. And I'm just doing a bit of adjustment while I'm here, as you can probably see, Guido. I don't know if you can see that. You seeing that? You're not seeing that, are you?
I'm on a delay.
Oh yeah, of course you are. Yeah. Adrian Rich in the Renault is P11. Ross Milburn for Racing Point is P10. Matt Goodyear for Mercedes, he's currently in P9. And let's do a little bit of adjustment here. Obviously, as I said, they're under the safety car, so no great shakes on that. I've got to say, I did expect a safety car here, Guido, but I didn't expect 2 safety cars, within the first 10 laps, let's put it like that.
I'm getting a text on the YouTube and it says Cameron and Zach had contact. They lost it, and then they took Richard and Jamie out.
Oh,
and that's,
okay.
And that's the through the eyes of Richard Williams.
Ah, right, okay. So there you have it. That is what happened. But yeah, but it happens, doesn't it? I mean, ultimately, then, especially on that corner there, it's it's a racing incident. That's the way the cookie crumbles, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's if there's some difficult or questionable driving there, then all the drivers are gonna have to make a clip and notify the stewards, and they will think something of it. And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, if again, it's like anything, as in real world incidents, if you want to put in an appeal that for whatever reason, you're more than able to do so, but you need to obviously give the proof, and in this particular instance, proof would be a clip, as you say, Guido.
Yeah, but that's rightfully, as you say, this is what happens. This is, you always start the race, well, at least it should be like this, you always start the race with 20 guys, and you want to end with 20 guys. But the truth of the matter is, it will not happen.
Yeah, it's very true. And I guess that's very much how, I suppose, it differs. Well, we are green, so we are racing.
Ooh,
that was a bit, I don't know, that was a bit strange, actually, to be honest with you.
I saw a car. Renault just disappearing somewhere. That
was a bit strange because obviously the safety car came in, but Dylan left it very late to actually get the guys going, which was, he really wrong-footed them there, I've got to say, because he was, as they were going down the start-finish straight is when he opened it up, so I was a little bit surprised by that. Yellow flags were there until they actually got down into turn one, so a bit bizarre. But anyway, Dylan leads the way. Sean Street is behind. Josh Diggles is already riding right on the tail of Sean Street.
Chris just slid.
Yeah, Chris Knight coming a little bit off there. Cameron Widdowson, Ryan Doran moving up ahead of him. Jack Wilson is in that P11. They're still very tight, obviously, as they're coming through here. But the ones to watch, I'd say, are going to be Josh Diggles, Callum White and Lee Pratt as well. But Callum White is definitely on the charge, trying to get through the field here. He took the win last week, obviously, when Dylan wasn't able to start, and he did a fantastic race, got to say, as has been the previous three races. And I think he's out again to get into the major points.
Mogyoród slid the car. He's making donuts on this start-finish straight.
Now, you see, Matt Goodyear, now he's lost it out of turn 14 there, Guido. And again, very easy to do when you're coming out of 14. You're hitting that DRS, you're laying down too much power, your wheels aren't straight. It's just going to spin you out, isn't it?
No, but he wasn't near the DRS zone just as yet, because he was still coming out of the corner.
Oh, right. So he was on the exit of the corner then. I thought it was as he was trying to straighten up.
No.
So Matt Goodyear drops down to P14. Not getting a good run out of turn 14. So, that's not going to be good for him. Adrian Rich has come into the pits, and he's gone on to a fresh set of mediums, Guido. We're on lap 13 of 70. I don't think that's the strat that he was looking for.
No, definitely not.
This isn't going to be good. I mean, ideally, you want to be going on this first stint on those mediums. You want to be going into, say, the mid-20s, really, don't you?
Yeah, because... And obviously, the safety car just mixed things up a bit. And will there be another safety car? So...
I don't know, the way it's going. 10 laps, 2 safety cars. I mean, it's very likely. Dylan Platt's already got 2 seconds out in front of Sean Street. Josh Diggles 6/10 off the back of him. Ryan Lear just out of the DRS zone in P4. Phil Harris, though, is zoning in at this moment in time. Into turn 1. Yes, makes it stick. Phil Harris moves up into P4. Ryan Lear drops to 5. Jake Sorrell is now pushing him as they're coming round turn 2. And Lear's feeling the pressure, I think, here, Guido, isn't he?
This is the good thing about a safety car. It just gets everybody together. Yeah. And it's this kind of track, it's... Matt Goodyear was that. He left the session. Oh, it's a connection issue there.
Yeah.
As I was saying, everybody gets together, and you know that midfield, as we always say, the midfield is very close in time and in points, and you know it shows it on the race.
Yeah.
And that safety car just makes it a lot. Well, it's not fun for the drivers, but it makes it a lot more fun to watch, I have to say.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because again, it's tightened up this pack, as we can see here. So these guys are challenging. I mean, Lee Pratt is definitely looking to make a challenge on Callum White, but equally, Callum White is looking to make that move on Jake Sorrell, and Jake Sorrell is looking to try and make the move on Ryan Lear. So that sort of, you know, sort of low midfield, there's always action going on here, isn't there, round about this sort of level, as the other guys sort of pull out and these guys are battling out. Phil Harris now 5/10 off the back of Josh Diggles. He is definitely on a mission to get past that Williams, but equally Diggles is showing great pace once again. He's staying with Street. Dylan obviously seems to be on a different level somehow, but these guys, they're really battling it out here, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's what you want to see. This is what you want to see. That's some, you know, this is where on a track like this, there's not a lot of room to overtake, and you really have to watch the width of the car. And oh, Chris Knight just an excellent move on Ryan Dorn.
So Chris Knight making a move. Where was it? Oh! And somebody's gone out. I saw a lot of damage lost. What was that? I saw a lot of stuff coming up in the air.
Melbourne going back.
What's going on? Oh, Ross Milburn has lost his front wing. Oh. So Ross Milburn has lost it, and that was as he was going into the chicane. I saw it just ahead because you see Chris Knight. I was on board with Chris Knight. So Ross Milburn has lost his whole front end there, and safety car is out again, Guido. 3 safety cars, and we're only on lap 15.
I'm going to make myself a cup of tea because we're going to be here for a while.
We're definitely going to be here for a while, but. Now, I mean, that was through the chicane, and it looks like somebody else coming in ahead of him as well. Yeah, it's Cameron Widdowson. So Cameron Widdowson, he's got damage as well. Josh Diggles is pitting. Dylan Platt are pitting, so they're taking advantage and coming into the pits under this safety car. So, yeah, this has triggered an awful lot of things. Now, obviously, Guido, unlike the real world, this is somewhat difficult because every time you come into the pits, if you're doing a nose change or whatever, you've got to do a tyre change as well in this format of F1 2019, don't you?
Yeah, but with all these kinds of safety cars, you can go back to a scrubbed set of whichever, because they haven't driven it for more than 3-4 laps.
Now, what I'm noticing is some of the guys opting to go onto hard compound tyres. Cameron Widdowson, Matt Goodyear, and Jack Wilson, they've opted to go onto the hards rather than the mediums. I suppose it could be a good shout because, again, it depends on the allocation of mediums because they've already used one set. They're onto a second set. Adrian Rich, I think, maybe onto a third set, actually. Let's have a quick look on these stops.
Yeah, but
no, he's done 2 stops. Yeah, third set. Adrian Rich is on a third set.
What compound tire is going to do in a track like this, because you already see people having trouble with the traction and with the mediums.
I've got to say, it's not a call that I would necessarily make, but I can understand why they're making it.
Oh yeah, and
because
in terms of strategy.
Well, not only that, is also in terms of what they've got left tyre-wise, because you know they've got to be careful, and if they can do a stint on the hard compound tyre, maybe push them up a bit ahead. The only issue that I'm going to have with this hard compound tyre is the time they're going to lose. Because they are going to be, you know, they're not going to be as fast. I mean, the pace is not anywhere near the medium or the soft pace. And
just watch the restart. You know, these tires are going to be hard to warm up. They're not going to have this amount of grip as the other tires will have, and especially in the beginning of the restart. So it's let's see what that brings in the when the safety car drives in.
Well. Matt Goodyear is racing at this moment to try and get round to the back of the pack. As long as he's on the back of the pack by the time they reach sector 2, we should be looking at the safety car coming in at the end of this lap, but I don't think it will. I think it's going to be in the lap 18, Guido. Matt Goodyear just coming round the final turn 14 now as the guys are coming into turn 4.
Yeah. What's going on here? Yeah, well, to be fair, I've seen the light. It is. Oh, I'm gonna shut up. Oh, hit! Yeah, wing is off. Yeah, on the left side, yeah, there's wing and plate. Are you muted?
Sorry, yes I am. So yeah, Sean Street takes that damage on the front left wing there. That is not going to help him. He's got Ryan Lear zoning in on the back of him. And he's going to, what do you think? He's going to have to come in. He can't stay out there with that end plate missing, can he?
No, you're going to have to come in on this track. You can't, you know, if it's, because obviously damage is notified on screen as in certain gradations.
Yeah.
But I think if bits start to fly off, you know, you're going to have to come in. You don't have any control on in the long run. So. Yeah, he's not coming in.
He's not coming in. He's staying out.
So
I'm actually on board. Yeah. Well, again, it's up to the driver, but I've got to say, I think it's a bit of a brave call. Callum White is zoning in on the back. Safety car is out, and that's for Lee Pratt. Lee Pratt has gone out. Lee Pratt has gone out into the pits, Guido, I think.
No, he's on the straight.
Oh, is he on the straight? So Lee Pratt for Ferrari goes out.
It was about the same where
no! And Sean Street, would you believe it, gets a speeding under the safety car, so 5 points for Sean Street. My. Oh dearie me, this is not going well so far. Although you can take some solace, I guess, in the fact that he's in that P2 position. But those guys now that are on the hards, I mean, Jack Wilson, he's actually on 12-lap-old hards. Did he go on to the hards that early? I don't think he did. There must be tyres he's already used, obviously. Cameron Widdowson, 3 laps since the last safety car, so 4 safety cars. We're averaging a safety car every 5 laps, Guido. That's not bad going, is it?
So, no, it's not. It's going to be an all-nighter again.
Yeah, I think it might well be.
And it's not even going to rain. It's just going to be after 4 laps every time that safety car is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've got to say this is somewhat crazy. But again, you know, we've had 4 safety cars now, but we've only had 4 cars actually go out.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was a hit, but it looked like he made the same move as Matt Goodyear did before.
Yeah.
Just coming out of the the last corner, and just spun it against the wall, the inside of the pit wall. So it's there's something going on there in that corner.
Well, Guido, I mean, if we were looking at this race without the safety cars, most of the drivers started on the medium compound tyres. I think the vast majority of them were looking to probably go into, if they could, the mid-20s, but the low 20s. Then on to another set of mediums for their second stop, pushing them then up into, hopefully, sort of the low 50s, and then finishing off on the softs. That's pretty much gone out the window, apart from really the front 4, because they haven't come in. They have stuck
to their strap.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Sean Street has come in. He's got new tires, so he didn't think it felt very good.
No, and
but then again, it's under a safety car situation, so that's
exactly. I mean, he's going to drop down to P14, but yeah, I think it'll probably work out for him. To be fair, the way it's looking at present, but. Yeah, this has really mixed it up. But these guys, as I say, pretty much staying with their strap. But Callum White, he's already moved up into P4, Guido. And let's just refresh our memory as to where he was. He was in P17, so 13 places. But equally, Phil Harris in the Ferrari up 11 places. So he's lining them up now, getting them ready for the start.
No, let's go to.
He's just biding his time. He's biding his time. No, he's not going yet. The guy's champing at a bit. Now he's going to go. Now he's going. Ryan Lear, though, is right on his tail. Ryan was ready to make the move. He remembered what Phil did into that turn one, but he can't do it on the outside, Guido. That's the thing.
Dylan Platt just going in between.
Whoa! I hate that turn one on these cameras on the broadcast. You just don't catch it. You've got to be on board. Dylan Platt has now moved up into P6, and yeah, he's pushing super hard, isn't he? He's got Chris Knight ahead of him. Chris Knight only 4/10 obviously off the back of Jake Sorrell, so all the cars still pretty much bunched up. But Callum White, look at Callum White. He's really looking to get past this Haas ASAP. He's not holding back in any way, shape or form, is he?
Oh, look at this traffic jam. This is really tight end to end.
Well, safety car will do that, but this is going to see now what these guys can actually deliver, because you've got some real mix here. I'm not taking anything away from Ryan. He did a fantastic job last week. But you know, I question whether he's got the same pace as Callum White behind him. Jake Sorrell obviously on good pace. He hasn't. He has come in, so he has replaced that front wing. Chris Knight in behind him, and then you've got Dylan Platt pushing on Chris Knight as well. So they can't quite zone in. They haven't got the DRS obviously on the cars ahead of them. Although Chris Knight makes the move. Look at that! Oh, swapsies there from Chris Knight, makes the move into turn one, late braking, gets past Sorrell. Sorrell takes it back on the exit, and now Dylan has got past Chris Knight, but Chris Knight just edging ahead of him now as they're coming round turn two. They're side by side into three. Dylan slots in behind. He's definitely looking to get past that Alfa Romeo, but Chris is not going to make it easy for him. Into turn four, round five now. Now, can Dylan look to try and make the move? It wouldn't surprise me if he tries to make the move as they're actually going round this third sector. Look at this, yes, look at this, side by side. Gets
contact,
but he gets ahead. He gets ahead. Controls the car nicely. So Dylan moves up into fifth place. Chris Knight slots in behind him. Jake Sorrell is the victim ahead for Dylan if he can get close enough into 12. Zoning down, Callum White still riding on the back of Ryan Lear. Phil Harris still leading the way and starting to pull away. Nearly 2 seconds between him and Ryan Lear. It's critical that Callum gets past this Haas now if he possibly can. Phil Harris setting the fastest provisional lap of 1:21.345 in that Ferrari. Remember, he's come up 11 places, started in P12. Callum White, though, up 13 places. Sorry, 14 places, started in 17.
Oh, this is good. They're really fighting, battling it out. Jake Sorrell and Dylan Platt there.
Yeah.
Side by side,
just going into that, into three. Now, Dylan, he's not going to hold back through this sector.
Ooh, just a little bit of sliding.
Yeah, riding right on the back here.
He's going to make the same move as he did lap before.
Well, he's going to try and see if he can make the move, I think, into 8.
No,
if he can.
This one.
No, not on this one. Oh, I don't know, though. He's got around 9. He could try again round 10. If he gets the right line, depends how close in Jake Sorrell goes. Too tight, maybe. Look at this. He's trying to see if he can get on the outside of him into 12.
That's what I say. It's just not a lot of room there.
Oh, and Ryan Lear pushing Callum White. Callum White has got past Ryan Lear, so he has got past him now. And that was actually around turn 11. Dylan Platt now looking every which way he can, makes the move on Jake Sorrell. Slots in behind. Callum White now moves up into second, so Dylan now is zoning in. But these Red Bulls, they are really on the game here, aren't they? Both Dylan and his teammate Callum, they are really gunning for it. As I said, you know, we've seen in the promos for tonight, these guys are on a mission now, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They're really, and especially Chris is, he's flying the last couple of races.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a penalty.
Ryan Doran picking up a 3-second time penalty for Haas there. But yeah, fantastic run. Callum now needs to zone in on the back of Phil Harris. Phil Harris is 3 seconds ahead of him. He was losing so much time there behind Ryan Lear. But Guido, these tyres now, we're on 23 laps. Now, we have had 4 safety cars, to be fair. These tyres, I reckon they can push them to sort of like 30 or thereabouts, can't they?
They have a lot of confidence in them, so there must be something in these tyres. Otherwise, you would have changed them at least.
Yeah.
The 4th safety car.
Well, Callum White has now got his target of Phil Harris in his sights. You can see him now very clearly down that start-finish straight, and he's already starting to eat into that time.
Dylan's making a move on the inside.
Yeah, you have to take the inside into that turn 1. So Dylan makes the move.
And takes DRS out there.
On Ryan Lear.
Charles Street with the fastest lap. 121.154.
Oh, nice. Well, he is on the... oh, no, he's on the mediums. I thought he was on the softs. Yeah, he's on the mediums. And Dylan's setting the fastest middle sector 1 so far. Or his fastest sector 1 anyway. So, what we got here, this is really mixed up. We're on lap 25 of 70. We're a third of the way through this race. We've had 4 safety cars in the first 20 laps, which has really mixed things up. We've seen Phil Harris move up 11 places to P1, or it's actually 12 places now. Hang on, let's have a quick look here and get confirmation of that. So, yeah, Phil Harris moves up 11 places to P1. Callum White for Red Bull is up 15 places to P2. Down 2 to 3 is Dylan Platt. Ryan Lear is up 4 for Haas to 4. Jake Sorrell for Racing Point is up 1 to 5. 6 is Chris Knight, up 9 from 15. Ross Milburn is down 3 from 4. Jack Wilson is up 2 from 10. Josh Diggles, he's down. Oh, no, he's just caught up. He's making the move. Yes, makes the move stick on Jack Wilson, so he's actually down 5 from 3. Jack Wilson only up 1. Ryan Doran is up 4 from 14. Adrian Rich stays who was 11. Cameron Widdowson is up 1 from 12. Sean Street is bringing up the rear at this moment in time, down 11 places, starting in P3. DNS from Matt Goodyear for Mercedes. Lee Pratt for Ferrari. Jamie Good for Toro Rosso. Richard Williams for Toro Rosso, and Zach Dejean for Mercedes. So both Mercedes and Toro Rosso out, and one of the Ferraris. However, Phil Harris, lovely little link there for Ferrari, is leading this race. And Guido, as I said, Phil was actually on the podium in season 1, finished in P2. So he's pretty confident around this track, and you can see that right here, can't you?
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, definitely. It's just one of those things that you have when you have a certain feeling with a certain track. It always goes to show. Yeah, it goes your way. Oh, there's some guys going into the pits. I think it's Jake Sorrell.
Well, I suppose it's coming.
One car.
It's only one car. Well, I mean, as I say, I would expect that these guys are going to stay out on those tyres for as long as they can. Dylan Platt obviously came in and went on to a fresher set of mediums a little bit earlier on. That's paying dividends for him at this moment, because he is going to get ahead, but he's going to have to make the most of that gap. He's probably going to have, I suspect, probably no more than 15 laps to really make up that difference and pull out the lead. But if anyone can, Dylan can, can't he?
Yeah. Yes, he can.
Been watching too much Bob the Builder, I think. So
well, we don't have Bob the Builder, we have Bob the Bauer.
Bob the Bauer?
Bob the Bauer.
Bob the Bauer. Oh dear, you live and learn, that's for sure. So, but yeah, I mean, Dylan, he's still looking pretty strong, but equally his teammate Callum White as well. He's put in a great performance, and he's fast as well. I mean, he's got his way through that field, so it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out once they get round to the second set of pit stops. Obviously, they've got full advantage there. They're going to be able to go a bit deeper on these mediums because of those safety cars. And coming into the pits is Ryan Lear. So that's after 26 laps. I'm sure they can go a little bit more than that. I'm sure we're going to see these guys going into the early 30s, the likes of certainly Phil Harris and Callum White.
He's going back on a set of mediums again.
Yeah, I thought they would be. I mean, I was going to say, if I was going to do this track, it would be medium, medium, soft. Ryan Doran, though, is zoning in on the back of Jack Wilson in the Renault. He's just lost a little bit of pace there, went off a little bit onto the dirt around, or out of 2 into 3. But he's definitely zoning in on the back. Ryan Doran is showing some really good pace in this Haas tonight, Guido.
Yes, this is.
And he's up 6 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we've had 5 DNFs, but yeah, he's definitely showing good pace. Those mediums working well for him at present.
I think that's they all seem to want to drive on the medium tyres, so it's it's definitely the choice.
Sorry, Josh Diggles zoning in on the back now of Chris Knight around 14. And, well, he should be able to make the move.
Should be straightforward, yeah.
Gets alongside him.
Oh, bit of defense there.
Oh, Chris Knight trying to see if he can just stay ahead of him. But Josh Diggles, yeah, gets ahead. Chris Knight can't quite stay with him, so good pace there from Josh Diggles, getting past Chris Knight for that P4 position. And now Ross Milburn is looking at the back of Chris Knight as well, isn't he? Look at that. So Ross Milburn in the racing point, zoning in as they come through the chicane. 6-7, Chris Knight riding that very hard on that curve there on the rumble strip. You've got to watch that. Coming round 10 now, dropping down into that turn 11. Ross Milburn only 3/10 off. He's going to look to stay on the tail of Chris Knight and make the move into that DRS zone without a doubt there, isn't he, Guido?
Yeah, he's going to have to hang on. It's almost.
Yeah, Chris Knight is coming to the pits. Yeah, so Chris Knight.
There was a little bit of a.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a feint there.
Yeah.
So Chris Knight into the pits. He's on 25 lap old mediums. So that pushes Ross Milburn up. Phil Harris also into the pits, so he's coming out on a fresh set of mediums. So Dylan Platt has now reassumed that P1 position. Josh Diggles is 8.1 seconds behind him. Ross Milburn another 1 second plus behind him. Jack Wilson now is up to P4. Ryan Doran is in P5 and he's chasing down. Jack Wilson still not being able to close it down enough to make the move, but he's still in there. Phil Harris comes out on P6. Just behind him is Adrian Rich in the Renault. Then we have Cameron Widdowson in the Rocket Williams, and he's got Sean Street. Oh, really zoning in on the back of him right now.
Yeah, Sean is really on a run. He's trying to get up to the field there.
Yeah, you would say, would he not have been better off going on to the softs, who he was going to be looking to try and push from the back as he has done? Because, if he'd have pushed on the softs, it might have helped him a bit more. Okay, he would have worn them down, but he would have been coming into the pits when everyone else was as well. So It might have helped him out there. I think that might have been the wrong call for Sean. I think he should have gone on to the soft tyres, to be honest with you.
Yeah, to plough up the field and then get back to the
get back while, you know, once everyone's started to pit, because everyone's going to pit round about that mid to high 20s. And he's making the move now as they're coming down into turn 1. I don't know, it's always risky on the outside into turn 1. Whoa, wheel to wheel, definitely contact there. But look, you got, I think, Dylan Platt, or is that Callum White? Dylan Platt is in behind them as well. So let's have a quick look here.
Oh, it's a yellow.
Oh, it's not. It's Callum White.
Situation.
Callum White. Yeah, Callum White is in behind them.
Callum White, yeah.
So Sean Street is going to get blue flags. Oh no, he's not. No, because Callum White's in P9. Sorry. Yeah, Callum White's in P9. That's right.
It was Callum White.
Yeah, it was Callum White because he's come into the pit, so he's gone onto a fresh set of mediums. So yeah, Callum is zoning in on the back now of Sean Street. And yeah, that's put Street off somewhat, hasn't it?
Yeah.
He's got past. He got past Widdowson, but now he's got Callum White, and he's got Adrian Rich ahead of him, 2.2 seconds ahead of him.
He's definitely going to be overtaking Callum White because he's got a way more grip now with the Fraser set.
Yeah, that is true. And Sean Street's only 11 lap old. It shouldn't be too bad.
Yes, here we go. It's going to be straightforward, probably.
Yeah. Gets alongside. Drops in.
A little bit late braking.
Yeah.
And it's done.
Drops in. So Callum White makes the move on Sean Street. Gets up into P8. And he's now zoning in on the back of Adrian Rich in the Renault. Trying to see what else is going on, but Callum's the one that really... You've got Jake Searle closing in on the back of Cameron Widdowson as well for P10. So let's actually have a quick look on that as he's coming around 5. Yeah, he's right on his tail here. Cameron Widdowson trying to go defensive. He's going to try and make the move into the chicane. They're side by side. Cameron Widdowson takes the lead. Callum White now right on the tail of Adrian Rich as they're coming out at 12. Sorry, into 12. Oh, very close, but Rich gives him space, lets him make the move. But Street now looking to try and make the move on Rich as well.
And he closes that door.
Yeah. Well, Callum White pulls out ahead, and now Sean Street looking to make the move on Adrian Rich in the Renault. Rich trying to break his toe there as much as he can. Needs to take the inside.
Yeah, they both have DRS, and Adrian's still ahead.
Yeah, but Street gets ahead, so Street gets ahead. Rich drops down to 9. Street moves up to 8. Callum White is up to 7. Ryan Doran is his next target ahead of him. 1.8 seconds.
Oh, Ryan Leah, Cameron Widdowson are in a fight side by side.
Oh, they're coming up to turn 4.
That's going to go wrong. That's going to go wrong.
Wheel to wheel. Look at that. Who takes advantage? Chris Knight moves ahead. Oh, and they're still coming back. My goodness me. Chris Knight now is wheel to wheel with Cameron Widdowson as they're going through the chicane. Cameron Widdowson stays ahead. Oh, Chris Knight nearly loses it. Jake Searle coming in behind him. Chris Knight, Ryan Leah pushes in ahead of him. So all back until the way they were. All way back to the way they were. So Ryan Leah still ahead of Chris Knight and behind Cameron Widdowson. That was that was some battling through that sector there.
Yeah. And I can't believe that there was no damage.
No, I must admit, I'm looking at the cars, no damage. There was definitely wheel to wheel.
Oh, look at the...
And Cameron Widdowson now breaking the toe. Chris Knight not so close, but look at this. Ryan really diving down on the inside there. Take that inside into turn 1, that's what you want. But look at this, Cameron Widdowson is going to try and come back, can't make it. But equally, Chris Knight now right on the back of Cameron Widdowson. Oh, is it coming to 2? Late braking there from Chris Knight. But Cameron Widdowson coming back at him, wheel to wheel again. Wheel bumping there as they're coming into turn 3. And Widdowson drops in behind Chris Knight. Chris Knight now behind Ryan Leah.
let's go on board with Cameron Widdowson as they're coming into turn 5.
He gets a penalty for that.
These guys really battling it out, aren't they here, Guido?
Yeah, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. This just 3 cars keep battling it out, and they don't damage each other. That's really what you want to see.
Yeah. Definitely. Chris Knight.
Let's get to the chopper.
Yeah. Chris Knight trying to zone in on the back of Ryan Lear now. Cameron Widdowson dropping back a little bit there, but let's go forward because Callum White is now looking to make the move on Jack Wilson down into turn 1. Gets on the inside. Makes it look easy. And that's the thing though, you've got to be on that inside, haven't you? You've got to be on that right-hand side as you come down into that turn 1, haven't you, Guido, to take full advantage. I mean, you know, trying to make the move on the left, it just really does not work unless somebody makes a mistake, obviously. So Callum White coming round 5 now and up to P5. Phil Harris is in P4 as he's coming round to the end of sector 2, just coming round turn 11 now, dropping down into turn 12, and he's put in a solid race, I've got to say. You know, he's in P4, he's still looking pretty good, and strong for that podium, Guido. But Ross Milburn, he's in P3. Now he's going to be coming in a little bit earlier. He's just started his 20th lap, as have Josh Diggles and Dylan Platt, so they all pitted round about the same time. And I was saying that Dylan really needed to try and get that gap to that P2 to really a pit stop break. He probably had about 15 laps in which to do it. He obviously, well, I don't know whether he heard me, but that was certainly his intention, because he's 13 seconds ahead of Josh Diggles. Not quite a pit stop though, but not far off it, is it?
No, you can't. They can't take advantage of that. Ross Milburn's gonna have to come in closer to get near that.
Well,
sorry, Josh Diggles.
I suppose really his competition isn't so much Josh Diggles and Ross Milburn, it's really Phil Harris and his teammate Callum White. Yeah. And if we take that into account, I mean, they're, what, about 18, 19 seconds behind him. And his teammate is actually around about 26, 7 seconds behind. So he is ahead of the person he wants to be ahead of. He's got that pit window certainly on Phil Harris, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely he has that. What do you think? You think Chris is going to come up there? It's going to be a blue one too? Ooh.
Well, Callum, you mean? Callum White?
No, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, the way it's panning out at this moment in time, Guido, I've got to say...
Because to be fair, Phil has 7 lap-old tyres, just as Callum does. And he has the potential to stay right in front of that. So, blue one too, I don't know, but maybe...
I don't think it's going to... I think the podium is, as the way it's looking at this moment in time, the podium's going to be Dylan, Phil Harris and Callum White.
Callum White, yeah.
That's the way it's looking to me at present. But Guido, you know, we're on lap 37 of 70. We've only just gone past the halfway mark.
Yeah, we got 4 safety cars left. So.
Yeah, we've still got 33 laps remaining, and you know, we saw 4 safety cars in the first 20 laps.
Yeah,
so
there you
know, anything can happen, and that's the beauty of this, because anything can happen. And as I say, you know, we saw that very much with obviously the result last week, you know, with the guys there, you know, how it sort of really helped them progress. Because, I mean, it was a great result for Jack Wilson and Ryan Doran getting 2 and 3 on the podium last week in the Hungaroring. So, yeah, I mean, anything can happen. But, yeah, certainly the way it's looking at this moment in time, I think that is more likely what's going to be. Spoilers, I still think that we could get a spoiler. Just trying to think, really.
I think it's going to be on
Ryan Lear, actually. I think Ryan Lear could still be a spoiler.
I've got a, yeah, I think Ryan Lear could still be a spoiler there, Guido.
How's that?
Well, oh, hang on. I'm having issues with my controller here. Bear with me a second. Why is that? Because he's been showing good pace. He really has. He's been doing well. The other thing as well with Ryan is he's also on 10-lap old mediums. So he is likely to be pitting round about the same time as Phil Harris and Callum White. And if those guys make any sort of errors or mistakes, he's within the window effectively. So I think Ryan Lear has the potential to get in the mix. I would expect it to be finishing in the top 5, certainly.
I think we're going to have to wait until... Oh, we got a yellow flag in sector 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, it's Ryan Doran. He spun the car, and it's again on that fast turn in front of the straight of the chicane.
Yeah.
When you hit the
turn
curve
5.
on the right side,
there seems to be debris in the chicane there. So let's have a quick look. See who we've got coming up there.
I think the thing is when they're gonna pit, when they're all gonna pit, at least the guys that are on 23 lap olds, you're gonna get a certain level playing field again. They're gonna get drawn to each other, and then they're gonna have to battle it out. And that's when the potential of another safety car is gonna come in.
Oh, that's all.
But the field is pretty much pulling apart now, so that's why we're having this mid-race pause, as you will.
Yeah, I mean, certainly with this track, because it is a relatively short track.
Right on attack, P8 on Adrian Rich, sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, indeed, Ryan Lear right on the back of the Renault there of Adrian Rich. And as I said, he's showing good pace there, Guido, and that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rich is on much older set of medium compound tyres, so that is going to help. He's likely to be going to come into pit pretty soon, I would have thought.
Playing the defensive role there, Adrian.
Well, Rich isn't going to, you know, he said a couple of weeks ago that he wasn't going to be Mr. Nice Guy and let everyone past him just because, you know, they were there hassling. So he's going to hold his ground at this moment.
That's not going to stick in the straight.
Yeah, that's the difficulty, isn't there? I mean, you know, Ryan Lear, just over 2/10 off the back of Rich. He's clearly got the DRS on him. Going to make the move. And it's Chris Knight in the background. That's going to be the interesting one because Chris Knight is going to have a little look in there as well, you know, Guido. Look, Chris Knight getting the exit there, went down the right-hand side as well. And Rich has got to fight to stay ahead. Yeah, but he can't. He overshoots it. Chris Knight moves ahead of him as they're coming into turn 3. And that's the thing. Chris Knight saw the opportunity there and took full advantage of it and just wrong-footed the Renault driver there of Adrian Rich, which is a great shame, but you know, that's the way it goes. That's racing, isn't it? You know, you've got to look for your opportunities. Rich was concentrating very much on Lear, and yeah, he lost not 1 place but 2 places. So Chris Knight is now zoning in on the back of Ryan Lear. So
what's he doing? He's plowing the road a bit. Ryan was a little bit out on the outside of the track and caught a little grass. Now that can be tricky, obviously, when you get your left tires dirty.
Yeah.
But he seems to be all right.
Well, nice. He's 4/10 off. I don't know if he's going to have enough.
He's not going to.
Oh, I don't know. No, he is. He is. He's going for the right-hand side, though. It's, I don't know. It's like you've got to watch it on the exit. It's wheel to wheel, but Lear should have the advantage. He's going to have the advantage into turn 2, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but then, yeah, that's where he's got it. And that was a ballsy move from Knight there. Ballsy move from Chris Knight. That was a really good move and good control as well. Got to say from Lear in the Haas.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
that was good moves. That was good moves and good driving from both drivers there.
In the first corner, if you go on the outside, it's almost impossible to get there unless you have a lot of overspeed. But it's not. You know, you have to brake in a certain time, and you're going to overshoot the line.
But I think Chris Knight was already thinking, as most good drivers do, you know, 2 corners ahead.
So he was looking at it from the point of view, okay, I'll get on the right-hand side of turn 1, I'll try and stay alongside him, and if I can, I'm going to get the advantage into turn 2 because it's downhill left-hander. So that's exactly what he did. So there, great forethought, great driving, and that's pushed him up into P7. Ryan Lear is now in P8. Sean Street is in P6, 6.7 seconds off the back of Callum White. Callum White is in P5, 6.1 off the back of Ross Milburn. Ross Milburn, he's in 4. Josh Diggles is in 3. Phil Harris is in 2. And Dylan Platt leading the way. Now, this is the interesting one, Guido, because Dylan is going to be pitting before Phil Harris. He has got... I don't know, yes, I said Phil was his contender. He definitely had 18 seconds on him. That gap has dropped down now to 16 seconds because Phil Harris has opened it up. He's got up into that P2 position. This is not looking so straightforward for Dylan Platt right now, is it?
No, and I'm gonna... Dylan needs to make... Well, the top 7 need to change to another compound. So they all have that disadvantage of doing that. And the rest below that, except for Ryan Doran. So he has to, wow, he's going to go on the hard compound and drive it out? I don't think so.
No, I don't. I mean, this is the thing, Guido. See, what I'm looking at from the point of view is Dylan Platt is on 27 laps. He's going to have to be coming in pretty soon.
Yeah.
I suspect that he's going to try and take advantage of that lead that he's got, and he's going to finish on possibly, I don't know, see, it's difficult to say because he's got 27 laps remaining. I think he's going to try and push these mediums for as long as he possibly can and then go on to a set of softs.
Wow, we've seen that before.
So, you know, he's on 27 laps. I think the previous set he did 26 laps on. Was that? No, he couldn't have done. No. He came in early. Oh, he came in earlier, didn't he? Yes, he did. So that's why he came in earlier. I don't know. It's going to be difficult. I mean, the other thing you could say is come in earlier and maybe go on to 2 sets of softs. He's got the advantage with that 15 seconds.
That could be a possibility.
I mean, that is a definite possibility because he's got that 16-second gap. I mean, I think Harris is still going to take him on the track once he's in the pits.
He's going to go for one stop. He has to go for one stop. He's going to go for the soft tire in the end and then finish it.
Yeah, I think that's that. I think I'm pretty confident that that's Phil Harris's move. He's looking to, you know, push these medium tyres. So let's say he's got another 16 laps. So that's going to push him up to lap 60 and then go on to a set of softs. He might go on a little bit earlier than that. So he definitely has the potential to do that. Whereas Dylan, it's a little bit more complicated for him. He's going to either... it's difficult. It really is difficult. I don't know if he can push it 6 more laps, take it up to 34 laps. I think Dylan's going to more likely to come in and go on to 2 sets of softs.
I think it's just difficult
another
to
2 stops.
What Dylan's going to do anyway, because he doesn't... Oh, Ross Melvin just left the session. Well, that's a connection issue.
Yeah.
But Dylan tends to just do something different than a normal strategy would.
I mean, he could go on to another set of mediums potentially and just try and ride them out a bit longer and then go on to a set of softs. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see, and interesting to see when he actually comes in. Diggles in P3, obviously he's in the same position as Dylan Platt because he's also came in at the same time. So he's on 29 lap old mediums, as is Ross Milburn in that P5 position. So there's 3 drivers there pretty much all in the same position. And I think it's going to be very much a question of watching the other guys to see, you know, of those 3, who's the first one to come in and what they go for. I've got to say, I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards a soft run. So, you know, another pit stop, effectively.
Yeah, Adrian's coming in on 32 lap old mediums. So maybe that's basically somewhat of an indicator.
I mean, it could be that I think Dylan is going to come in and go on to a set of softs. Whether he rides those softs out for 20 odd laps is another question. It's very possible. Lighter fuel load. He's got a good rhythm to the track. He uses the full width of the track, so he's not going to get so much tyre wear. He's likely to be leading anyway, so he's not going to be braking so hard. So, yeah, I think the softs is the option, and I think Dylan Platt is going to come in on lap 34 and go on to a set of softs. That's my prediction.
34. Wow. Well, I'm looking at Adrian. He's coming in, or he came in, and he got a set of mediums that are already scrubbed 11 laps.
Yeah, and it could be. I mean, that's the other option. I mean, if Platt has got a set of scrubbed mediums, which he does have actually from the start of this race, he could go on to those. Yes, that is a definite. So it could well be that he might be going for that.
Sean Street got Ross Milburn there.
Yeah, Sean Street making the move on Ross Milburn into 5, and that was around turn 1, leading down into turn 2, and he's really opened up the valves. He's already opened up a 1.2 second gap in half a sector, so yeah, he's really on the move. Yeah, I mean, Sean Street, I don't think he's going to spoil the party. Again, I think he's going to hold that P5 position. I don't think he's going to progress too much further for that at the close of this race.
He's got to pit again.
Yeah, I mean, Callum White, he's going to definitely take P3, and Phil Harris, he's going to take P2 actually, Callum White, because Phil Harris is going to take 1 when Dylan Platt comes in. But that gap is opening up. I mean, it was 16 seconds, Guido, interestingly enough.
It was 50 seconds at one moment in time.
Yeah,
one moment in time.
It's one moment in time. It's now up to 17.7 seconds. So we are definitely in that pit window, and Dylan is very, very close to that.
Bear with me. We have a prediction. Terry Card, a regular of ours, is saying, I reckon Dylan comes in lap 38, smash some fast laps out on softs, and smash some more on a second set of softs and take the fastest lap. Wow.
Yeah, I've got to say, I can understand that prediction, Terry. I can see where you're coming from.
And now he has a finger slip, so he says 48.
48, yes, I presume that. Yeah. I was guessing that was what he's on about. I've got to say, I think he might go a little bit deeper. I think he might go 34 laps on those mediums and come in on lap 50, a nice round number. But yeah, I think that is a very, very strong possibility. But if he does have a set of scrubbed mediums, which I believe he does, then there is every likelihood that he could go on to those and then go on to the softs, just to make it that little bit safer. I don't know. We're going to see. I think we're going to see, and we're going to see within the next 2 or 3 laps. So everyone's going round again. So Josh Diggles, he's starting his as well. Just on board with Chris Knight, because he's starting to zone in now on the back of Ross Milburn. I don't know if he's going to make enough ground to make the move down the start-finish straight.
He's going to have DRS, ain't he?
Yeah, so but he's 7/10.
He's going to get closer.
He's going to get closer. He's 7/10 off. He does like that first 3 turns in that sector 1. So he's going to be showing good pace through there.
Oh, Ross just blocked up a bit.
Yeah, he did into that turn 1. So Chris is definitely going to zone in on the back of him. There's no 2 ways of that. I think he's going to be riding his tail as they go into 4-5.
Riding on his tail.
Well, he's caught up 2 tenths. Oh, he's dropped down to 1 tenth now. So he has dropped a little bit. Milburn's going very wide out of 4 and into 5, and you can see how much time he's lost on that. Because Chris Knight has really 2 tenths he's pulled up on him just on those 2 corners.
Oh.
Yeah, but a lot of the drivers doing that, Guido, I've noticed, through that chicane. They're really riding it very hard on that left, and I think that, we saw what happened earlier on. I think that was with Richard Williams. I think it was on that chicane that he had issues, and I think also one of the racing points earlier, I think Jake Sorrell had lost his front end on there.
Yeah, it is a bumpy ride. If you hit it wrong, you will lose it.
Well, Chris is still not able to. He's still 8 tenths behind. So I think that Ross Milburn has opened up on his ERS So for those that you are unfamiliar, and I often do try and sort of explain this in case you're sort of new to F1, but you've got two systems. You've got an ERS, which is electronic recovery system, and that is effectively a separate motor, which is an electric motor, and that's the power for that is generated by the force of braking when you're going into the corners, etc., and that it charges it up. That gives you an extra boost of, I think, around about 150 horsepower, which is quite considerable. And then you have DRS, and DRS is the zone where if you within the 1 second of the car ahead of you, that activates and it opens up the rear wing, therefore allowing greater airflow and therefore greater speed. So those are the two systems. DRS is the one that you can use throughout the race. Oh, and he's really cutting that corner. Did you see that, Guido? Yeah. Ross Milburn completely cutting that chicane there. Not a good move, I've got to say. And I don't know. Well, possibly the stewards might be looking at that, but that's happened a few times there.
No, it's the game stewards are not giving him penalties, so it should be fine.
Oh, well, if it's not giving him penalties, then fine. They did not pick up a penalty there.
No.
Oh, right, okay. Well, no, actually, no, he could be keeping the left wheel on there, so as long as you've got one wheel on. So, Ross Milburn coming round now, and yeah, that gap has opened up considerably now, 1.4 seconds to Chris Knight. Dylan Platt on lap 34, or 34 laps of those mediums. Lap 50, this is when I'm predicting he's going to be coming in, and Josh Diggles is in P3. He's 25 seconds behind him. Phil Harris now on 20 lap old mediums. He can see Dylan, or you can see, no, but Dylan's staying out. Dylan is staying out, so he's going deep. He's definitely going to go as deep as he can now on those mediums, definitely, and he's pushing it to try and see if he can get onto the window for those softs. Guido, I mean, what is the window that he's going to be looking at? He's on 19 laps.
Someone thinks he's going to be lap 55.
55, 4 more laps. That's 39 laps.
Well, to be fair, he's still in control. You know, it's going down a bit, but we saw that before, and then it just the time increased again. So he looks totally in control of this.
Yeah, I've got to say, I wouldn't disagree with you on that.
There's no huge slidings or losses of control or whatever. Grip. It's just,
yeah.
He looks fine, but then again, he's pushed. We've known he's pushed the car too far twice, and then he has blowouts. So
but that is very true. Actually, we have seen that from Dylan, where he has pushed the tyres to the point where you can be susceptible to damage, and he has picked up punctures, and it has cost him places and races as well. But I think he's learnt from that. I mean, I think he's confident in the pace that he's got. That gap is pretty constant now. It's sitting pretty constantly around about that 16 and a half seconds to Phil Harris. But again, Phil can go in deeper, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. Josh Diggles, though, still very much in the mix. He's staying out as well. I mean, is he just looking to match Dylan Platt?
Probably.
Yeah?
Probably.
But the thing is now, he's got Cameron Widdowson zoning in on the back of him. I mean, you know, Cameron Widdowson has made up a hell of a lot of time on Diggles. He's now 7/10 off the back of him, closing in rapidly. Clearly, Diggles hasn't got the pace.
Cameron White, you mean?
Callum White, sorry. Not Cameron. Callum White. Sorry.
Cameron Widdowson White, Callum.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. Callum White zoning in on the back of Josh Diggles. I mean, he hasn't got the pace. He's on much older set, and he's lost time to him. And, I think this is going to cost him, really.
He's going to go for it. It's 4/10.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Diggles is going to have to come in here, especially with Callum all over the back of him. What is the point of staying out on those 36 lap old mediums when you got somebody, you know, zoning in the back? Either let them through or come to the pits and go from there.
They all have to change their tyres. They all have to change their compound.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, Callum is definitely going to make the move, and him certainly on the start-finish straight if he doesn't come in. There's no two ways about it.
It's going to be done.
Yeah, he's staying out. He's staying out. Callum is
undoubtedly going to make the move. I know Diggles is going to push it every which way he can. 3/10 off, and you can see he's really opened up on that ERS to stay ahead. But he's not going to be able to maintain it. Very good though, I've got to say, he's made a good move there. But now he's got to try and replenish that and still keep Callum behind him.
Just for your info, the last 5 laps actually, for Dylan was in the 120s, 125, 123, 123, 120.3. So he's pretty consistent on that set still.
Yeah, maybe he can go that deep then and go to 39 laps or even more, who knows? Yeah. Callum White harassing the Rocket Williams here of Diggles, really harassing him.
Was a 120.1, so he's going faster in this set.
He's probably trying to close down the gap now. I think that to me would indicate that he's going to be coming in very soon.
Yeah, he's making it fast.
Yeah. Make it as fast as he can. That gap to Phil Harris is still around about 16, well 16.7, so it's floating around about 16 and a half plus mark.
On the straight,
yeah.
P4. Is he going to defend it?
No.
He's going to defend it.
Yeah, Josh Diggles does defend it. But they are wheel to wheels, they're coming into 2.
Oh, yellow flag, what happened? Sector 2.
Yeah.
Brian Dorrance spun again, probably.
Well, Josh Diggles stays ahead of Callum White for now. He's not making it easy for him, that's for sure. And I've got to say, I'm a little bit surprised because ultimately, you know, he's not gaining anything. He's losing, because he's losing time hand over fist to Phil Harris at present, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just, I don't know, Guido. I mean, is there anything to be gained by what, you know, Diggles is effectively holding off Callum White here?
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, but is there anything to be gained from it, do you think?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
And he's staying out again, but I'm sure Callum White is definitely going to make the move on him now. Yeah, look at this. He's got him right here. He's got him right here.
Oh, no.
Oh, goes onto the dirt there. He's lost a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's going to cost him. Makes the move into turn 1, and that really did cost him. And Diggles is just staying out there.
Chris Knight's, he's not making a move. He's got,
Chris Knight.
Yeah,
he's into the pits. Ross Milburn's into the pits. Ooh, nearly hits the barrier going into the pits there. Let's go with Dylan Platt, because Dylan Platt now zoning in on the back of, I think that's Jake Sorrell.
Jake Sorrell,
yeah, getting past him, and now on Adrian Rich. Adrian Rich, I'm sure, will move aside, but I'm thinking Dylan's actually going to come in now.
Lap 55?
No, he's staying out.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Forget about it. Forget about it, man. He's not coming in. Josh Diggles is just coming round into turn 11 now. He's still got Callum White right on the back of him. And I mean, right on the back of him as they're coming into 12. I think Callum White is getting somewhat frustrated with the Rocket Williams ahead. What do you think, Guido?
Yeah. Well, you know, to be fair, it was his own fault. He got on the left side.
I've got to say, Guido, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you notice that Williams seems to be shuddering, it seems to be warping somewhat, doesn't it, on the track?
Is it?
Yeah, I've noticed that for a few laps now, actually. I thought it was just a bit of sort of stream glitching, but I was just watching it there. It seems to be sort of like, you know, warping a bit. So I'm wondering if that's causing any issues for White.
Well, yeah, I've read it before. If you have somebody with a bad connection, if you see a car in front of you, it starts to warp. You know, it just loses your sense of where the car might be.
Yeah.
It just appears right in front of you, and then it's about 5 meters ahead of that, and it makes calculating where the car is really difficult. And obviously,
Dylan Platt is in. Dylan Platt is in.
on lap 56. So Phil Harris is just coming round turn 13 now. So he will take that P1 position.
Ooh,
it's going to be very, very close though. Dylan is just coming out. I don't know if he will actually. No, Dylan will stay ahead of him. Phil Harris coming down the start-finish straight. Phil Harris will get ahead. Dylan Platt will come out in second. Josh Diggles is into the pits, and so is Callum White. Was there contact? Was there contact there or not? I wonder.
Yeah, there was contact, but there was no damage. Well, there was damage.
Yeah, there must have been, because I'm sure Callum White's car is damaged. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. He's okay, so he's going on to the set of softs. Josh Diggles also going on to the set of softs now, and Callum White's got ahead of him, I think, in the pits.
He's taken him.
No, he hasn't. No, Josh Diggles is ahead. So Josh Diggles is ahead. Callum White is in behind him. Sean Street also into the pits. He's going on to a set of softs, as is Chris Knight as well. So everybody coming in now on this lap 57 to close this race, and this is really going to make it interesting now. So Phil Harris, he's on 27 lap old mediums. He's just coming round turn 12 down towards 13. He's got Dylan Platt. Sorry, he's into turn 12 now. Dylan Platt 3/10 off the back of him. Phil Harris is going to have to come in now, isn't he? And he's going to have to look at a corking out lap. Yeah, he is. No, he's staying out. So Phil Harris stays out.
Phil's going to lose here.
I was going to say, what is the point of staying out? Surely he's got to stay in. He's got to go in.
He's got to go in. He's losing big time here. He can't. These guys are going to ride out these tires, and they're going to have no problems in the end.
Yeah.
And he's going to lose about 20 seconds for the pit stop. So P3.
Well, he's got 12 laps to go.
Maybe
he's going to have to pit. But Guido, he's got to pit.
Sorry?
He's got to pit, Phil Harris. Phil Harris has got to pit.
He's got to get in. He's got to change his tires anyway.
Personally, I would have said he should have done it there and then, because it would have given him the opportunity, because now he's losing time on being on those mediums when he could have gone onto a set of softs. I mean, okay, 16, 17 seconds, but it wouldn't have been that big a gap. Okay, we'll see what happens. He would have been that big a gap. He would have
been in the fight if you pitted.
He would have been in the fight.
With these guys.
Yeah, definitely would have been in the fight. I mean, Josh Diggles is in P3, Callum White is in P4. I was saying who's going to spoil this for Callum White, and I was thinking Ryan Lear, but Josh Diggles, because he has stayed out a phenomenal amount of time, as did Dylan Platt on those mediums, and that's what made the difference, wasn't it, Guido?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think how it could have been any different. Should he have stayed out longer? I don't think he would. I
was surprised he stayed out as long as he did, but that's why he had to hold off Callum White. Because he knew what he was thinking.
Callum White stayed out a little bit longer, about 2 laps.
Yeah, I think if Callum had to stay, to be fair, I see what you're saying. If Callum had gone for the overcut.
Yeah, because he was faster, but he just didn't have the opportunity to overtake.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to do the work now on the track, isn't he? This is the thing. And the way Diggles has been driving, I think that is going to be somewhat of a challenge. Callum White is in P4. And yeah, he's back in the same position really, isn't he? He's got to try and get past that Rocket Williams, who's also now on a fresh set of soft tyres. So yeah, I think the overcut would have probably been a better move. But then again, if Callum's confident he can make the move on track, then that's what he's going to go for, I guess. So
yeah. So we got Phil now on a changed set, 22 seconds behind on Dylan.
I've got to say, you see, he's lost a lot of time there, Guido. I think even if he'd have pitted, he probably would have been 18 seconds behind. He's now 23 seconds behind. That's a full 5-second gap. And in the closing stages of these races, you know, you never know what can happen. So, yeah, I think he's put himself. I think he's put himself in danger, to be honest with you, Guido, because 10 laps to go. Diggles and Callum White fighting it out there. It's possible. I mean, Diggles could catch up to him. Yeah, it's difficult, but Callum White is definitely itching to get past, isn't he? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, you couldn't get a cigarette paper between those two right now. Oh my goodness. Now he's got him. Now he's got him. Now he's got him as they're coming down.
Oh. And he's still got the DRS. He's got the edge on that.
Yeah, and he's got him. He's got the DRS as well. Yeah, into 2 there. So Callum White makes the move stick on Josh Diggles. Gets up into that P2 position. Sorry, P3 position. Josh Diggles now in P4, but Diggles isn't going to let it rest, is he? He's going to come back at him. He's just not going to let it lie like that, is he? Because I mean, they're on equal sets of tyres, etc. He's definitely going to try and get that place back.
Callum got 3 penalties. Josh has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I think it's safe.
So I didn't want to spoil the suspense here, but
yeah, I think that's pretty safe then in that instance. In fact, Diggles could be potentially under danger from Short Street even, I think, for that P4 position.
Dylan's got none.
Well,
Sean's got none. Sean's got none.
Sean's got none. So, I mean, we could see Sean Street actually take P4 at the end of this race, I think.
Well.
Okay, so let's have a look at our runners and riders as they are on the track at present. So Ryan Doran for Haas is in 13. In 12 is Cameron Widdowson for Rocket Williams. In 11 is Adrian Rich, still maintaining that P11 after all this time. Just out of the points, and he's going to be very frustrated by that. He's going to look to try and close down if he can to Jake Sorrell. Because Jake Sorrell just in the points there in P10 in that racing point, and that has surely got to be the target for the Renault driver of Adrian Rich to try and at least salvage a point here today. So Jake Sorrell for Racing Point, he's in P10. In P9 is Ryan Lear for Haas, and he's put in a really good solid race, I've got to say. So he's in the points there in P9 for number 9 actually, Ryan Lear. Ross Milburn, teammate to Jake Sorrell in the Racing Point, he's in P8. In P7, so good points potentially, well, a good few points to be raked here for Racing Point team. Chris Knight in the Alfa Romeo, zoning in now on the back of Jack Wilson in the Renault, and I think he's going to make the move down this start-finish straight, Guido, by the looks of it. Yeah. Jack Wilson trying to break the toe there, but Chris getting on the inside as they come down into turn 1. Yeah, nice straightforward move, gets ahead of the Renault there. So Chris Knight moving up to P6. Sean Street is in P5, and he's 11 seconds currently ahead of Chris Knight in that P5 position. 6 seconds off the back of Josh Diggles. Do you think he's going to, well, get past him on track? I mean, by the looks of it, he's going to get past him in regards to points, isn't he? Yeah. So
Sean, the penalties,
yeah, penalties, well, penalty points. So penalty points we're referring to is when the drivers go off track 3 times consistently, they get awarded a 3-second penalty, which is added on to their finish time of this race. So if you pick up 2 penalties, you get an extra 6 seconds added to your race time, which can lose you positions. And the way it stands at this moment, we're pretty confident that Josh Diggles will lose at least 1 position, and if he's really unfortunate, possibly 2, but I think certainly 1, and he's going to lose that to Sean Street, who's currently in P5. So he should assume that P4 position by the end of this race. Josh Diggles, who we're referring to in the Rocket Williams, you know, an exciting driver, one who, you know, certainly often delivers the unexpected, but it comes at a cost for him, doesn't it, Guido?
Yeah, it does, because it's, you know, somewhat, I don't want to say aggressive, but maybe
well, it's all good to be aggressive, but you've got to be measured, haven't you? And at the end of the day, if you're going to pick up or accumulate a lot of points, it doesn't work in your favour, really. So you need to look at what you're doing. Because he's certainly a competent driver, and that is his major failing at this moment in time.
Yeah, I agree on that.
So, Josh Diggles, he's currently in that P4 position on track. Callum White for Red Bull, he's in P3. Solid position there, I think, the way it's looking at this moment in time. And we said, quite a few laps ago that we were more likely to be looking at Red Bull, Ferrari, Red Bull on that podium. And that's certainly the way it's panning out, isn't it, Guido?
Yeah, it's a bit what we expected. Although I thought maybe the Red Bulls were going to do something extra. But having said that, I think it's still a great one. And we're not there yet. That's, to be fair, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
There could be another safety car. We've had that before in the end. And it really will mix things up. Would love a safety car actually right now.
Well, that would certainly mix it up because, as I said, Hungary, obviously short track, quite fast, and it's very often that you see back markers being overtaken and then gaps, real big gaps between the drivers. Safety cars certainly broke that down undoubtedly in the first 20 laps. Obviously now we're reaching to the conclusion of this race, only 5 laps remaining, so we can start to see those gaps building up. But Callum White, Guido, 14 places, lest we forget. He did start in P17. Okay, we've had 5 DNFs, but even taking that into account, that's still 9 places. That's a hell of a run, and he's showing his form, isn't he? Yet again.
He's really getting it now. Obviously we said before he has got it in him to do it, but now he's got that. It's got it locked down. He's got it tight. He's delivering what he's trying to do all the time. And it looks good. And it just brings up the position of the constructors. It goes through the roof, the points.
Yeah, I mean they're already sort of got a commanding lead, but finishing first and third is going to majorly help the constructors, but also their own driver championship standings as well. Because Callum currently in P4, been moving up progressively, 3 or 4 positions every race. So
they got 2 cars on the podium, and you got Ferrari as only 1 car is going to finish.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that's very true indeed. And we're talking of Ferrari, Phil Harris in that P2 position. I mean, he's also done a great job, to be fair. I mean, he started in P12, a little bit ahead certainly of Callum, 10 places, getting up to P2. I mean, he is a great driver. But he's just, I'm sure he has, and he does have the ability and the capacity to certainly, race against Dylan, but he hasn't. He needs to sort of zone in on that speed that Dylan achieves on track, and I don't think he's too far off it, to be quite honest, Guido. I think it's only a little bit tweaking here and there, and he could do that very easily. Well, not easily, but he could do it.
Exactly, not easily. I think there's a little bit of driving technique that's a difference, because you see also the difference between the cars. Dylan is he's picking up the pace so fast, and he's moving away so fast from the other cars.
Yeah. And the other thing to say here, Guido, is as well, I mean, obviously with the game itself, it has levels of assist. And a lot of the drivers now looking to go without any assists, no traction control, no ABS, etc. And they say themselves that the pace it gives them is phenomenal. I know that Dylan races without assists, and I guess that's different. It's getting to grips with the car, the manoeuvrability, how you actually steer it. And once you do that, if you can do that with those assists, your speed is phenomenal.
Yeah, it tends to be more reactive. But obviously, more reactive means if you push the throttle too fast, also means you make donuts where you don't want to do that. So, it takes a little bit more...
finesse.
Well, a little more finesse and a lot more practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see where you're coming from on that, Guido, absolutely. Yeah, but Phil Harris, he's in that P2 position, as I said, up 10 places there. P1. Dylan Platt, I mean, what can we say? He wasn't leading all the way, but that was basically really down to strap more than anything else. Pulled out a fantastic middle stint on those medium tyres, but I've got to say, equalled by Josh Diggles in the Williams as well. You know, I think it was 40 laps, 39, 40 laps, certainly 39, I think it was 40 maybe Dylan did on those. No, it's 39. And that's really helped him. I was just trying to think what it was, but that has really helped him phenomenally, hasn't it? I mean, he had his nose ahead by a pit stop anyway, but he needed to keep that, and he's done it. I mean, fantastic run. He's going to be finishing round about 20 seconds or thereabouts ahead of second place. You know, who is going to stop this guy is what I'm going to say, Guido, because 85 points ahead in the Drivers' Championship already. He's going to pick up another 25 points here. It's still going to keep it roughly parallel to Phil Harris, but he's going to open up again to probably around about 90, 91 points ahead of Phil Harris. Phil Harris, I'm sure, will assume that P2 in the championship. Sean Street dropping to P3, because again that battle going on there. But who is going to beat this man? Is anyone going to beat this man this season, do you think, Guido?
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, I think so. I think somebody's going to nick off a first place from him, but you know, because it's all down to what happens in the course of a race.
Yeah.
And you don't have control over it. Obviously, you have control over the car. You have control over what you do, but you're not on the track. So as you saw tonight, 4 safety cars. Now we're on lap 69. It could be there's going to be a safety car in just half a lap. You never know.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point, I've got to say, Guido. Got to say that is a fair point. So Dylan Platt is coming round shortly to start his final lap, but I've got to say, this has gone rather quickly, these past sort of 40 laps. The first 20 laps, obviously 4 safety cars. We haven't had this. We've got a yellow flag, sector 2 and sector 3.
God.
What's that?
Oh God! What did I say?
Oh, it's
gone.
It's Cameron Widdowson. I think it's Cameron Widdowson.
He's looking to drop. I don't see positions changing everywhere.
No,
anyway.
it's Jake. I think it was Jake Sorrell, actually. I'm just trying to see who it was.
Doing something,
I think it was Jake Sorrell and Ryan Lear.
Sector 1. What's going on?
Okay, I'm not too sure what's happening here. Anyway, let's join Dylan Platt for his final lap. Our race winner here, and I can see what you're saying, Guido. I mean, somebody is going to come up. I mean, there's always somebody that leads the way and someone that dominates, whether it be real world or sim world. It was always the way it works out. But I'm sure there will be competitors, if not this season, certainly next season, because we've got some really exciting drivers lining up. So only 20 places, but we've got quite a number of drivers already lining up. We are just past the halfway mark here in season 2, and season 3 is going to be very, very exciting indeed, but we'll bring you news of that as things progress on. Right now we are watching Dylan Platt, our race leader, soon to be our race winner, as he comes around the final corner onto the start finish straight and takes the win here in Hungary for the F1 Tonight UK Season 2 Hungarian Grand Prix. Fantastic result from him. Phil Harris for Ferrari coming round now onto the start finish straight. He will take that P2 position, and P3 will be Callum White in the Red Bull. A Red Bull 1-3 here for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And what a great result that is for both drivers and the team. Phil Harris saving the day for Ferrari. But yeah, absolutely fantastic race. Sean Street. Sorry, Sean Street. Oh, what a result! So, we said that points would come in, and Callum White clearly picked up a number of penalty points, and that has really spoilt the party because Sean Street from McLaren takes that P3 position. What a fantastic, oh wow, what a finish. What a finish. We did not see that one coming. Callum White takes P4. I think that Josh Diggles is actually going to be around about P6, P7, but we'll have confirmation of that very shortly. There they go, onto the podium. Dylan Platt takes first, Phil Harris for Ferrari takes second, and Sean Street for McLaren takes third. Wow, that was totally, well, I can hardly wait to see this board, Guido, I've got to say.
Yes, tremendous.
I can hardly wait to see this board. Let's have a look at that. That was absolutely unbelievable. Yep, let's skip that. Let's have a look at the board. So, Dylan Platt takes the win. Ferrari second with Phil Harris. Sean Street gets third. Callum White is fourth. Chris Knight is fifth. Yes, and Josh Diggles does indeed drop down to sixth. Ross Milburn for Racing Point is 7. 8 is Jack Wilson for Renault. 9 is Adrian Rich for Renault, so good points there for Renault. Ryan Lear for Haas is 10. 11 is Jake Sorrell. 12 is Cameron Wilson for Williams. 13 is the Haas of Ryan Doran. Then we have the DNFs of Matt Goodyear, Lee Pratt, Jamie Good, Richard Williams and Zach Dejan. Well, well, that was pretty amazing, Guido, I've got to say.
That was something else.
That definitely was something else. And yeah, and a great
especially
surprise.
We looked at the penalties at the end, and I don't know what we missed there.
Well, yeah, well, quite a few things. I couldn't top them up in time, to be honest with you, Guido. So this week, as we said, obviously that's the F1 Tonight UK race done and dusted. But this coming Thursday, we have the F1 Tonight Netherlands race, which is going to be here at the Hungaroring. Guido, you are competing in that for McLaren. Your championship at this moment in time... sorry, not for McLaren. Sorry.
Oh.
I apologise, Guido. Not for McLaren. I do apologise. You're which car are you in? You're in the Toro Rosso, aren't you? Red Bull. I knew it was one of them. Don't give me a hard time about it. So you're going to be racing here, obviously, at the Hungarian Grand Prix this Thursday at 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time. Nicky Visser in a Toro Rosso is currently leading the championship. Boy Williamson for Ferrari is second, with Sil DeWitt for McLaren is third. Constructors are Ferrari, Toro Rosso and Alfa Romeo. The likes of Baz and Brian running for Alfa Romeo, and is it Damie as well, isn't it?
Sorry,
who's in the Alfa Romeo? Is it Baz and Damie in the Alfa Romeo?
Baz and Damie, yeah.
Yeah. So great run there. So they'll be this Thursday. Next Tuesday we will be back, and we will be at one of my favourite circuits. We'll be at Spa, won't we, Guido?
Yeah, I think it's one of the most beautiful circuits there is.
Yeah, it's an awesome circuit, and it's going to be a very, very different race at Spa. So join our F1 Tonight Netherlands colleagues this Thursday, 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time for their Hungarian Grand Prix, and join us next Tuesday for our F1 Tonight UK Belgian Grand Prix at the Spa ring, or the Spa circuit rather. For me, that just leaves me to say goodnight. So from me, it's good night, everyone. Well,
you need to go and call the driver of the day.
Oh, sorry, driver of the day. Yes, I do apologise. Driver of the day is actually, I was going to say Callum White, but I'm not so sure now. I'm not so sure, because we were looking at that and we were going to say, it's going to be Callum.
I have to say, and if you agree or disagree, I think I'm going to take Sean Street, because I didn't see that coming.
No, I've got to say, I want to go with Sean Street as well, because I didn't see it coming. I think Callum did a fantastic job.
He did.
I think he was
on the calendar for
he was definitely, it was a great job, but those points cost him dearly. And I've got to say, Sean Street, for recovering, coming back the way he did. Yeah, I agree with you. Let's go with Sean Street on that one. So driver of the day, Sean Street. So that definitely leaves me now to say good night. So from me, it's good night, everyone.
And for me, it's a good night, everyone. Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Stay safe. See you next week.